It was a dream. It's all a dream that has come true. I can't believe what I'm feeling. I can't keep my feet still. My way to the game, I couldn't even watch. I was so nervous about the outcome. And Butlerville's going crazy. Eastern's going crazy. All I want to say is I love you all. I love everybody Butlerville. I love everybody Eastern. I love everybody in Canada.
Rob Butler appeared as a pinch hitter last night.
Batter holds the bat out of pitching. The one thing that Schilling doesn't want to do with a hitter like Butler is throw off-speed pitches to him, overpowering. You try to overpower the smaller guys. 1-2.
He reached on the fielder's choice to score last night. It is only a bat, and there's a base hit. Cañate streaking toward third, and he'll get there.
Just go ahead and smile, Rob.
Yeah, 20 years ago, I was a batting champ. Seems like it's a long time ago, which is funny. But I don't feel any different. Coming back here, it's brought back all those great feelings, and, I'm young enough for, sometimes I think I might be able to get my own bat in there here and there, but not that I will. I've always loved this league. When I was a kid, I followed the stats. I watched Bill Bykowski and Rick Johnson and a lot of those old guys that played for the Leafs, and, they were my heroes growing up, so it's always an honor for me to wear a Leaf uniform and be a part of this.
So this week's guest is Rob Butler, as you may have seen by now, and he's had just an unbelievable baseball career, from being the batting champ in 2001 with the Toronto Maple Leafs, where he hit .488, to being an Olympian at age 18, where we kind of got to see him on the big stage and on the international stage, and how about winning a World Series with the Toronto Blue Jays in 1993 as well, maybe the best of them all. And I just love that interview in the Blue Jays locker room with Rod Black. We'll have some connections to the Maple Leafs as well. So without further ado, this is Leafs Weekly Episode 3, Butlerville. Rob, there's a lot of different ways I think I could take this interview, and you've had such a cool baseball career, but I thought maybe I would start right here. There's a place in Newfoundland called Butlerville, and I remember I was watching the World Series Game 5, and that was a big thing that the commentators were talking about. Can you kind of tell me about Butlerville, Newfoundland, and what that place means to you?
Yeah, Butlerville, Newfoundland, where my dad was born. His grandfather was, he believes, the first person there, which is why it's named Butlerville. His family definitely were the cornerstone of that area for sure, because when we used to go there as a kid, he had 14 siblings, and it's pretty much, that's all that was there, was just my dad's family, and his cousins, obviously. So definitely named after the family, and a fun place to go to, and a place where I come home and I tell my friends when I was a kid that I just came back from Butlerville, and they thought I was joking. I didn't think it was a real place. Like, oh, you just say that, and I'm like, no, there was actually a sign that says "Welcome to Butlerville." So, and now it's on Google Maps, so there is proof that it exists and it is a real place. And for some reason, it became a bit of a story when I was playing in the World Series. I guess because it's it's interesting, and I got a chance to get 2 at-bats in the World Series, and I got on base both times. And the announcers, I know they threw that in there, and all of Newfoundland went kind of crazy for that, especially my family. My family were watching, and CBC went out there and did a big scoop on my family while I was playing. So the whole family was in the house watching.
They would like us to win a little more than they would last year. I want to bring that World Series ring home to them. So, yeah, my family is right into it, and they want the Blue Jays to win just like anyone else, and hoping that I get a ring.
And if the Blue Jays clinch the World Series,
and yeah, it was a pretty big deal, man. And I didn't know what was going on. Obviously, I was just you don't hear the announcers when you're playing, and there was no cell phones then, so I didn't get the messages until I think I got home, right? I was like, oh wow, it was all on CBC, and my grandmother got on TV, so it was pretty exciting for them for sure.
So right before this episode, we've just watched a clip of you in the locker room for the Blue Jays after you've won the World Series. You're doing an interview with Rob Black, and you are as excited as any 23-year-old kid I think could possibly be. You can't stop moving your feet, as you point out in that interview. And I know that was just an unbelievable moment for you. Just kind of looking back on that now, like, how big a moment was that for you, just like in your life and in your baseball career as well?
Well, Well, it was enormous. It was unbelievable, really. You know, it was surreal that I was there. You know, I grew up loving the Blue Jays. I mean, missed school to watch spring training games back in the day, and went to Exhibition Stadium and just fell in love with all those characters. You know, those were our Marvel superheroes. You know, for us as kids growing up in Toronto, you know, Lloyd Moseby and Barfield and Dave Steve and Tom Henke, and I mean, go on and on, Tony Fernandez. Like, it's, you knew everybody, right? You knew everybody in the minor leagues. You knew everybody that was coming up. You knew the whole story of all the players in the Blue Jays. They were so good at just making you fall in love with them, you know, because they were so bad and then they became so good. So we all kind of in the 80s grew up with that, right? So it was a team that we all kind of like grew up with for sure. So for me, it was, you know, my dream to play for the Blue Jays. And, you know, luckily enough for me, you know, I was somehow I got it. knowing me and where I came from and how I grew up, you know, growing up in Maine, Danforth, and me and my brother basically, you know, a couple of poor kids living in terra housing, playing Burby every day. You know, if we found a baseball that we could use, you know, which we usually didn't, we usually had to climb on top of the school roofs to find tennis balls. You know, we were out there every day throwing to each other, playing wall ball, catching fly balls. I mean, we just loved baseball so much, right? It was so ingrained in us for some reason. My dad didn't play, my mom didn't play, but we just loved it, man. And, you know, maybe we were lucky that we didn't know the difference between, you know, having stuff and not having stuff, because we didn't have video games or anything like that. We had the outside, we had sunshine and schoolyards. So, you know, and we were surrounded by a good group of buddies, right? We had a lot of buddies who loved playing as well. And that's really how we got good at baseball. So, you know, for me to go play in the Olympics when I was only 18 years old, you know, I was still in grade 12 in high school, and, you know, I got to experience all these things. It all comes from that. It all comes from being a dirtbag kid out playing until I, you know, come home with my knees rubbed off, and, you know, me and Rich wishing it didn't get dark because we wanted to keep playing. You know, those kind of things were always going on when we were kids. So it was special. It was unbelievable that I got to play for the Blue Jays. You know, '92, I was an A ball only, but I watched the World Series at home. You know, I went to the parade to see it as a fan, right? Even though I was in the minor leagues and a part of the organization, I still was a fan, and going crazy for them. And then the very next year, be playing in the World Series it almost does seem surreal because it happened very fast. You know, I only played about 190 minor league games. I didn't play a lot of minor league games. They called me up pretty quickly, and it was tough. It was tough being from Toronto and playing for the Blue Jays. I wouldn't really wish it on anybody, or I would wish that they would get, you know, months of therapy before they tried it, because it's very distracting. And it's tough. Like, the major leagues is the hardest place to play baseball, and in that environment, playing on a team like the Blue Jays, which is countrywide, right, Newfoundland to Victoria, everybody loves Toronto. So it was more, you know, added a feeling that you had to play good all the time, and, you know, it was definitely difficult. So, but you know, when I got to the World Series, I got to play in the World Series. When I got on the roster, it was shocking. Because now I was one of the best 25 in the whole world, right? And that's not easy to accomplish. That's not easy to achieve when you grew up poor. So, you know, it was very exciting. I mean, unbelievably exciting, to be honest. And, you know, Cito put me in the games, and he trusted me. I got a hit and scored a run in game 4. You know, got a hit near the end of the game in game 5, and gave us a chance to come back. And, you know, that was the beauty of that team. They trusted you no matter what. You know, you're the player with the least amount of experience. It was just like you had the most amount of experience. They put you in, and that's why we won. We were definitely a team united.
I know that the Blue Jays were not the only team in the Toronto area at the time, because the Maple Leafs were around as well. I know you had a dream, you and your brother Rich had a dream of playing for the Maple Leafs, and you did. You did quite well, and now you're here coaching the team as well. But I want to go back to the very start of your career. You had to start out in Stratford, right? Playing for the Stratford Hillers. Can you tell that story of why you had to start there, and how your IBL career got started?
I had to play in Stratford because younger players weren't allowed to play for Toronto. If you're under 21 and you lived in Toronto, you weren't allowed to play, and that made Jack very mad. So I come out of the Olympics, and, you know, I had to go play for Stratford. They called me, and Dennis Schooley was the owner and manager of that team back then. Crazy man Schooley, great guy, great team, great little city. I loved playing there. I mean, I hate to admit it, but I drove there without. I used to drive there. My dad gave me the station wagon. I didn't have my license, And
I was wondering if you were going to tell that part as well.
That's an old man Danforth move, driving around with no license. But this was like 1988, 1990, it's different times, obviously. But yeah, no, I used to drive myself to the game, didn't have a license. My brother would come all the time. He's only 16, 17, loved it. We loved going to Stratford. And I did good. I played well there. I loved Stratford. You know, I hit a bunch of home runs, and Schooley really appreciated me driving from Toronto. But, you know, Jack was fuming mad. He wanted the rules changed. He didn't want guys like me. You know, I mean, ideally I wanted to play for Toronto, obviously, but I wasn't allowed to. So I had to go start my IBL career out in Stratford, playing for the Hillers. It was amazing.
I'm glad you brought up playing in the Olympics as well, because that was before you even played for the Maple Leafs. Like, crazy how that works out, right? 18-year-old Rob Butler is an Olympian playing for Canada. What kind of takeaways as a kid did you get from playing on an international stage like that? I mean, this is a stage that, since we haven't seen baseball in the Olympics in a while, that, I mean, almost nobody has really been in. So I'm just wondering, you know, what kind of experience was that for you?
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. It came out of nowhere as well. When I was 17, 1987, I was really trying to gear up to play in the junior national team, but I didn't get a chance to try out. And it really motivated me to just go hardcore, like strength training, running. My mom and dad were marathon runners. And, you know, I was really mad. I was pissed, right? That I didn't get a chance to play for Team Canada, because I always wanted to play for Team Canada. I've always wore, you know, I was a sporty, nerdy geek in school. I wore Olympic track pants, and I wore an Olympic logo on my sweaters and my coats I wore. Everything was Olympics. You would have thought I was 15 years old in the Olympics. I think I had more clothing than the Olympians did. So it was always like my dream to, you know, not even knowing what it was, but I wanted to be playing for Team Canada, right? So it was a huge motivator for me. I was at the gym every single day, not thinking of Olympics, just thinking of 18U Team Canada, right? I actually didn't even know there was an Olympic baseball team, which is funny. So when it came around for the tryouts, we went to South Dakota for 2 weeks. And so I made the junior national team, but that tournament wasn't until December in Australia. So that's where the Worlds were going to happen for the 18U. So when I was there, Jimmy Ridley, Bernie Beckman, Johnny Upham, they told me I was going to go and try out for the Olympic team. So this was in July, right? First week of July. So I called my parents and collect from Kitchener, and I was like, I'm from South Dakota, sorry. I'm not coming home. I'm going to Kitchener to try out for the Olympic team. And there's only 3 days left at camp. I didn't even know I didn't know any of this, right? I just kind of was like told, this is where you're going to be tomorrow. You're going to be in Kitchener for trying out for the Olympic team, and good luck. So I show up, and it's funny, like Matt Stairs is there, Peter Hoy is there, Greg O'Halloran, Warren Sawku, Riel Cormier, like all these guys who play like high professional major leagues down the road were going to be on this team. And, you know, I had no idea I was walking into a hornet's nest of guys who didn't want me on the team. I show up 18 years old, you know, got my white wristbands on. I used to always wear wristbands when I played back then. My dirty shoes, my high socks, and, you know, not really understanding where I was or who these guys were. And I didn't play well. The 3 days I was there for the tryout, we played against the St. Catharines Blue Jays. I made an error in the outfield. I struck out twice. We played at the exhibition stadium. Made another error. Things I normally wouldn't do. I was nervous, right? For the first time, I was actually really nervous about baseball. Like, I was never nervous like this, where it's out of control. I was like, my first sense of out of control, like, wow, I can't control myself, my emotions. So the team, I only learned this later on, right? And Stairsy was the guy who actually told me, you know, Rod, the guys here don't like you. They don't want you on this team, because you being here means one of their buddies that, you know, qualified for the team and at the Pan Ams the year before is being sent home, got cut. And Mark Griffin, who was the center fielder, was going to move over to right field so I could play center field. So he was pissed. So it was like a very unaccepted thing. And Stairs is like, Rob, you got to play good, man. Like, you got to start playing good, or these guys are going to be like, this guy's too young, he's too immature, like, you can't, he's not good enough. So anyways, I ended up hitting a ball off the wall at Exhibition Stadium. So I did actually have one hit that kind of may have swayed them more to put me on the team. I think I already made the team, but didn't realize it because nobody told me that, right? So when we were in Kitchener and they were announcing they were bringing us into, I thought I was getting cut. I was like, there's no way they're taking me. I suck. So anyways, Ridley brings me in. He said, we know you've had a couple, rough days, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in South Dakota, you're facing guys throwing 98, 99 miles an hour and hitting home runs. Like I hit like 500 in the South Dakota it was a tryout. But we're playing Team USA, Team Taiwan, and Team USA had Kiki Jones and all these guys on there throwing 95 plus. And I was hitting. So they knew I could do it, right? That was their sample that they were using. So they said, you're on the team and you're going to be the starting center fielder. So just relax and go play baseball. So that was a huge relief. But I'd never been away from home that long and that far. I'd never been to Europe. The first time I flew in an airplane was going to South Dakota. I'd never been on an airplane before. So, and I'd never really been away from home before. So it was going to be a whole summer of the Netherlands, Italy, Japan, and Korea. So it's going to be right from July till October. And I'd never done any of this. Nobody really took me under the wing and helped me and said, what clothes to bring. And, I was so unprepared. I didn't even bring toothpaste. Like, I didn't know what, like, it was crazy. Like how I was just thrown into this without anybody, taking me under the wing and saying, make sure you got clothes, make sure you got your washroom supplies, make sure you got da, 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 da. I just thought it was kind of the same way as like South Dakota was. We all showered in the dorm, everything was there provided. Like it was all, but it wasn't like that at all. You're basically living, with a roommate and like a professional. Like you were on your own. And I didn't bring a bag. Like it was crazy. I only had my baseball stuff when I went to the Netherlands. I had to go and had to go shopping and buy a couple pairs of shorts. I think the only thing I brought was underwear and socks. It was crazy. And my aunt always has been supportive. My aunt Barb my mom's sister, was incredible. My mom and dad had no money for this. Like they didn't know what they were panicking. They were like, "Oh my God, you're going to the Olympics! Like you're gonna have no money." And my aunt and uncle Phil, they gave me $1,500 in traveler's checks. I was at the airport and they showed up and they said, "We know you don't have a dime to your name. Here's $1,500. Make sure that you spend it wisely, but it'll cover for whatever, And luckily that came in handy, man, because I didn't have clothing. I was like right out of it, man. Pimpled, dumb, left-handed, in Europe. Like,
Yeah,
it was crazy. Anyways, I took what Matt Stairs told me to heart, and the first game we played in the Netherlands, and they love Canada there. Like, the place was packed, 12,000 fans. People in Holland love Canadians, and I hit 2 home runs. And they gave me the silent treatment both times. It's funny. I came back. But anyways, after my second home run, I can still remember Matt Stairs and Gregor Howland put their arms around me and said, "Well, you've proven yourself now. Now you can just be a good baseball player for the rest of the year, rest of our tournaments." And when we went, man, I did well. I played, I hit 300 at the World Championships as an 18. I was the youngest player in the world playing at that time. None of the other teams at 18-year-old. I was the only high school kid on any team. Playing against first-round draft picks from Team USA. The whole team was first-round draft picks. Andy Benes, Robin Ventura, Tino Martinez, Ben McDonald. I mean, I can go on and on. The team was stacked. Jim Abbott was there. And I got to experience, like, it was unbelievable. It was incredible what I got to experience that year as a kid, a very immature kid who didn't know his ass from his elbow. It was an amazing time. And my teammate grew to like me more and accept me more, because these guys are all 21, a couple years of college. I was only in high school. I couldn't really do anything with them. I couldn't party. I couldn't drink or anything like that. They like to, I had one of my roommates was 40 years old. He's older than my dad. So it was a very surreal time. Bob Bridges was 40 years old, older than my dad at that time. So it was crazy.
I mean, I think about all this experience you've had. There's lots of young players in the Maple Leafs that are 18 years old, coming up a similar way that you did as well. So I'm kind of wondering about kind of the philosophy that you take to coaching and hitting. And just to give some context, I've heard you on CBC talking about the Blue Jays in 2015, and you said Ben Revere was your favorite hitter on that team, even though they were stacked with all of these great hitters. I've also heard you talk about Paul Molitor and Joe Carter and saying a lot of the home runs that they hit, they weren't even trying to hit home runs. It was just by accident that they ended up going out of the park. And then I look at the batting stance that you had when you played Major League Baseball. Man, it was unique, right? All crunched over, and just the way that you stood in the box. And I remember a conversation with you about that batting stance. I think it was a couple of years ago when we were in the Leafs dugout. And you said that batting stance was kind of a product of trying to get to the big leagues rather than how you naturally felt like you hit. When you think about, kind of the philosophy that you give to some of these young hitters that are coming into the Maple Leafs, What kind of things, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, especially this year would be definitely more feedback on what I'm seeing. The first 2 years I kind of let the older senior guys play the way they like to play, and I feel that guys, coming up after, my generation of players, they kind of play the game more one-dimensional, trying to hit the goal, trying to hit the ball deep, and striking out more. And all the teams that I played on that won, we didn't do that. Right? We had some home run hitters, but they weren't trying to hit home runs. They, if they had to go opposite field, they did. Right? Palmer's got 3,400 hits. These guys all got 2,000, 2,500 hits of that played on that team, and they weren't all home runs. Right? So they all understood the way hitting should be: staying inside the ball, staying behind the ball, not trying to do too much. And I think there's going to be a lot more of that this year. The expectation is going to be a lot more of that. We kind of let it slide a little bit. That we're trying to hit the ball hard, but they're going to strike out more, and that doesn't work. We've proven it doesn't work. We're battling for last place all last year. We didn't hit well with runners in scoring position. Guys didn't come up in clutch situations and do anything. There's games there where we went to extra innings and we didn't win because the approach is off. The approach is wrong, right? So this year the expectation is going to be much different. There is going to be more of a standard set where we want guys on base. We want guys, moving the ball around. We want more opposite field hitting with guys and runners, with guys in scoring position, because that's what all the guys in the majors say. The best RBI guys in the majors say, well, when I'm up there, if it's runners on second and third, or runners on third with less than 2 out, I'm trying to hit the ball opposite field. If I happen to hit a home run, I happen to hit a home run. But my philosophy and my approach is to be shorter to the ball and use the whole field. But they're just so good that they adjust and react, and they can hit a home run, right? Our guys aren't good enough to do that, and they've proven they're not good enough to do that. Right? There's no one in a team hitting 400 with 20 home runs. There's a lot of, we have very high strikeout totals. And, as our hitters, we have to change that. And our pitching has to be better, right? Our pitching has to be more in attack mode, where you're using all your pitches, you're not trying to strike everybody out. Attacking a hitter doesn't mean you're trying to strike them out. It just means you're pitching smarter, you're keeping the ball down, you're changing speeds, right? You're trying to work ahead all the time. Our guys there was a sense that we should wait until the playoffs to play good. And I kept hearing this, and I was just baffled by that. I was like, that doesn't make sense. There's no logic to any of that when we almost didn't make the playoffs, right? So from day one, it has to be we're trying to win every single inning. It's just going to be different. There's going to be more aggressiveness from the coaching, I think, on the players to play better, until we find players that are willing to play the way we want them to play. I think there's we went into this winter, me, Anant, Dustin Richardson now, and Brian Sewell, that we will keep looking for players who are going to play the way we want them to play, the right way. We don't want guys to be about themselves and their own stats and pumping their own horns and striking out with the bases loaded all the time. That's not the expectation anymore. We want to be in every game and play different. And if they're not, we're looking for players who will. There's going to be pressure there. It's going to be different. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but there will be more pressure on the guys to play better, because the team needs to be the New York Yankees of the IBL, the team that everybody wants to play on, because we have a good culture, right? And the players want to be here. I found it almost weird that guys, we ask some guys to come and they won't come. They won't play in this, whatever it is. It could be the park. It could be some of the guys that are still here. And I'm just being totally truthful about it. It's bizarro. It should be the most sought after team. I can't wait for Toronto. When I was a kid, I couldn't wait to play for Toronto. I didn't even think of another team. I went to Stratford because I had no other options, but Toronto was a team I wanted to be on. And that's the way it's got to be. It's the way it should be. Everything has to be different. Everything has to be more aggressive, more fun to watch. And I don't know, that's just my take on the way it's supposed to be.
I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic between you and Dustin Richardson leading the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. We had DR on the show last week, and he said that he expects the Maple Leafs to be one of the top teams in the Intercounty Baseball League this season. And I thought it was a great point by you that you brought up about trying to win from day one, not just waiting until the playoffs to try and get hot. So how important is it for the Maple Leafs to finish first or second, or be as high a seed as possible in the regular season for you guys to be successful?
Oh, it's going to be very important. I think that the end goal shouldn't be to come in first, because then that puts too much it's too much out of control. You know what I mean? You can't expect to just say we're going to come first. It's got to be like day by day, like the old cliches. It's going to be day by day, you know, inning by inning, pitch by pitch. That's how you build a team that does end up in first or second. You know, if you're looking down the road too far, it's not going to happen. It's just like if you come to the plate and you're trying to hit a home run, it's not going to happen, right? So that's the philosophy of the team. The team's going to have to be, you know, day one, first pitch, ready to try to win, ready, not coasting. We're not giving away at bats. We're not just, you know, I'm going to get them tomorrow. You know, no, let's get them right now. It's got to be that way of playing for this team. It's no, you know, nobody. We're all, you know, from one guy to the next guy. We're all the same. We're all equal. We're playing for Toronto on the front, not the name on the back. Like I don't even want names on the jerseys anymore. Like get rid of all that. Like it isn't a one-man show. You know what I mean? It has to be everybody. So that's the only way it's going to work.
Before I let you go here, Rob, new cast of import players that we see this year on the Maple Leafs. I think of how exciting it's going to be to watch Sato pitch on opening day. And then we've got guys like Sebastian Rodriguez and Rando Moreno, and then Wilhannes Alvarado, who Maple Leafs fans will know from the last couple seasons. And I know there's one more still to be named, but how excited are you just about the import players that you have this season? Because I know you guys are taking a bit of a new approach with that.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited about it. We knew once last year ended that we needed to make some changes. We needed our imports to be a lot better. Wilhannes has been, you know, obviously 2 years ago he was amazing. He's one of the best pitchers in the league. Last year he was a little bit inconsistent, but you know he'll be back. We kind of helped and tweaked him a little bit to get him going at the end of the season. He had a great finish to the season, you know, with a couple of tweaks. So it seems so important because the teams really generally do better when their imports are playing better. Right, they got a good attitude, and you know, with Sato coming in, it's such an interesting dynamic. You know, having a woman playing on the team and going to open the season. You know, opening day, she's going to start for us because the expectation is that she's going to do well, and she's going to fit in. And you know, I tell everybody gets an opportunity. Everybody who's been playing baseball has been given an opportunity. Right, I got an opportunity to play in the Olympics. Got an opportunity to play pro baseball. DeSantos got an opportunity to play for the Leafs, you know, as a young player. Jordan Castolo got a chance to play for Barrie when he was a young player. All these guys have been given opportunities. So we feel that someone like Sato, who's on the world stage, is one of the best ever for women. And Keith bringing in an interesting, like, it's a whole different kind of enigma that it's so interesting. There's so many people following it. You know, it's the right thing to do to give her the chance to shine on a different stage. It'll be interesting. And we're hoping for the best that it works out. But you know what? There's been #1 draft picks that didn't pan out, but they got to be given an opportunity, right? So she's deserved the right to get a chance to do this, and we're going to make sure that she's gets a chance to be successful. We're going to take good care of her. She's going to be in a great environment. So we feel like all our imports and the team is going to, I think, is going to thrive, and it's bringing so much more attention to the team. There's going to be a lot more people at the park who are going to get a chance. You know, because of Sato, they're going to get a chance to see Justin Mara and, you know, all these guys that we have on the team. They're going to be actually now more popular than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can't wait for opening day, Rob. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you at the park on May 11th.
Yeah. Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate it.
Batting sixth, first base, number 9, Justin Mara.
Oh, welcome to Dominico Field. Thomas West here alongside Zach Benoit, the Toronto Maple Leafs in Welland Jackfish, a story of two teams who were on win streaks, the Welland Jackfish of 7, and then they lost last night against the London Majors, and then the Toronto Maple Leafs who had a 4-game win streak of their own They lose last night in Chatham-Kent by a score of 14-5. But this weekend started well for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's start there. The game against the Brantford Red Sox, in a game where they were down multiple times. They got a huge home run from Dan Mara, who many of the Toronto Maple Leafs players have said he's one of the hottest hitters on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. And they start the weekend well. That was something that they really wanted to do, and they're hoping that that game in Chatham-Kent was an oddity and they can keep that momentum for the game against Brantford going.
Yeah, and you know, they played well against Brantford and then Guelph as well on the Friday, like you mentioned. The 4-game win streak, I think when you look at the season as a whole, the season started with 3 losses of 1 run or less. And really, the Maple Leafs began to roll. They went on that 4-game win streak. They really settled things down against Brantford, and then they took care of business with the big bats coming out against the Guelph Royals.
After the game, I spoke with a couple of the Toronto Maple Leafs players in Brantford. Dan, you've hit home runs in back-to-back games, and they weren't just any home runs. They tied the ball game both times. They were huge shots. Where is this power coming from Dan Mara?
I was just telling you, I got a resistance band at the station at work. So, no, honestly, I haven't changed anything. I got a little, I guess we'll call them luck. If you put good swings on balls, every once in a while, you know, I had a college coach one time who always told me that home runs were accidents. And the idea is that, you know, if you're staying middle and putting good swings on balls, every once in a while you're going to catch one out front and it's going to leave the yard. So, you know, I'd like to think that's mostly it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's, I got a new protein powder. And so who knows?
Dan Mara hasn't been known as a home run hitter in the Inter-County Baseball League, but he has 2 big home runs, maybe the 2 biggest home runs of the year that he's had. Both of them have tied the ball game. What can you say about just the approach that he's brought to the team these last couple of games?
Yeah, you know, Dan was a guy we talked in the offseason, we thought about moving more into a secondary role, but, you know, he's been playing outstanding for us. He's actually, you know, one of our best players on the team this year. And I personally apologize to him. I said, I'm sorry I doubted you, because Dan has been a good team leader, good teammate, and he's been great. He's been great for us all around. And as you can see, we moved him to the 2-hole because he has good quality at bats, and it shows. And when you have good quality at bats, you know, Dan, does a good job, you know, getting the head out, and good things happen here when you do that, and you get the ball in the air at Christie Pitts.
Because the one today I owed the boys, because I made a terrible error in the top half of that inning, and you know what? A lot of runs got hung up on Willie's line, and he pitched better than that. And you know what? If that double play gets turned, we probably get out of that inning. So to be honest, as far as my mental approach, it's pretty frustrated going into that at bat the way the top half of the inning went. Not that I let that change my approach, but you know, I felt like I owed the boys that one. So I was happy to get it for the team. I mean, like, as far as statistics go, I don't, you know, if they're home runs or doubles or singles, I don't care. But really, like I said, it's just about having a good approach. I try and take it up the middle every time, and if I catch it out front, I catch it out front. So yeah, nothing changes for me, to be honest.
So your brother Justin, on the home run you hit against Brantford, he said that he went back to tag at third base because he'd seen so few home runs from you. What do you say to him?
I told him right away that was a lie. He knew that was gone. They're still looking for that ball over by the kiddie pool, so he knows that was a shot. And this one, I think I got a little bit better today. So yeah, he tries to be funny sometimes, but he's not that funny.
Coming into what seems like an impossible situation, bases loaded, nobody out, knowing that you pretty much have to strike out the side, what's going through your mind in a situation like that?
First of all, shout out to Brian Sewell, greatest manager move ever, you know, going to me that early. But honestly, the pressure's on the hitters in that situation. It's bases loaded. It's their job to get the guys in. So for me, I'm calm out there, but the juices are flowing. And if I just, throw with conviction and stay aggressive and, make some pitches, good things can happen.
Yeah, I can't say enough. Richie's done a lot behind the scenes, all winter, putting a roster together, and he sort of took this role that we couldn't fill, and really steered the ship in the right direction. So I can't say enough of good things about him as far as what he's done. Putting the team together and trusting some of the vet guys and bringing us back and making it all work. And obviously what you see on the mound is that's just vintage Richie. Came in a huge spot. close ball game, even though I felt like, I mean, it was a close ball game. It just was an 11-10 at the time. So he comes in and does his thing, and it just, man, it's so nice to have as a ball club, to have a guy that can just shorten ball games like that. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about that outing.
To come into a spot like you did in the 7th inning, does is that kind of a vote of confidence to the other guys out of the pen as well?
Well, absolutely. That's what we've been doing some of these other games and still winning, is trusting some of the younger guys to come in, or some of the new faces to come in and get the job done. So yeah, I mean, that's the plan going forward. Hopefully, is I'll come in any situations because we trust the other guys. Alex, a junior, going out there in a big situation for a young guy, it's impressive. So it's nice to know that we with Anant and Brian and myself, and some other guys on the team, we got some depth this year. We went to work early in the off season to bring in guys to have some depth, so we can be in this situation and just run some guys out there and trust them.
What did you say to Alex there on the mound? I know he got himself in a little bit of trouble. You went out and kind of gave him a fist bump. What was the message there to him?
Yeah, I mean, I just went out there, just let him know, listen, nothing hard hit off you yet. But I said, you're one pitch away. I said, just visualize, see your pitch, visualize. But you're one pitch away. Tell yourself that. That's what I do out there. I just visualize the pitch, and you just throw with conviction. Going forward, it's just guys are starting to establish their roles right now. We're trusting people in certain situations. And everybody has a good attitude about it right now. Guys ain't complaining about not pitching or not getting to play out in the field right now. And that shows a lot. It shows a lot of character, and that helps. Because that was one of the biggest things going forward this year, is my role as a GM, is I want to make sure everybody understands that a lot of positivity and a good clubhouse environment.
Yeah, it feels great. The vibes are good, and we knew we had a good week last week, and we played 3 games in a week, won all 3. We really wanted for it not to be just contained to that week, and we wanted it to bleed into this weekend. We got 3 in a row this weekend, and that's tough for working guys. So getting the first one's important for sure. So it felt great, and you know what? It was a good game. It was a fun game.
So this was the last game for the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, a 15-4 loss. And I talked to Rob Butler before the game, and he noted the importance of the start by Josh Berenbaum. This Toronto Maple Leafs team was a little bit shorthanded last night. They needed 5 innings. They needed 5 innings, no less, from Josh Berenbaum last night. Man, he gave them a great performance, up over 90 pitches, got through that, and really gave the team a chance to win. And then eventually a bad inning, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers hit a grand slam, and the floodgates kind of opened. But that was a big start by Josh Berenbaum. Gives guys like Jeremy Newton in the bullpen that the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't have to use a little bit of rest, and he should be good to go today. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, they'll need all the power they can get against this Welland Jackfish team sitting first in the Intercounty Baseball League.
Yeah, and when you look at what Berenbaum was able to do for them, again, it's not a short drive to Chatham-Kent. It's a lengthy drive. They knew they were short-staffed, and for him to go out there on short rest, be able to give them 5 innings, that's a lot. Granted, yes, it was still a loss, the 14-5 loss, but he went out there, he saved a lot of arms in the bullpen for today. This is also a really big game, like you said, against the number 1 seeded Welland Jackfish.
So Drew Howard is going to get the start on the mound for the Toronto Maple Leafs today. The last one, didn't go the way he wanted. Went a couple of innings, just couldn't get out of that. Got out of the second inning, but didn't have enough gas in the tank to go 3. Gave up 5 runs over 2. But with that being said, the Toronto Maple Leafs coaching staff thought there was a lot of potential there for Drew Howard. And this game, we'll see if the Toronto Maple Leafs can get a little bit better start this time from Howard, because they know he's a guy who could be really important for this Toronto Maple Leafs pitching staff. Yeah,
and I think it was just a really quick turnaround for Drew Howard. He got signed really, I believe it was the day before, and then the quick turnaround to come play. Now he's settled. He's been with the team for about a week or so now. He can get his reps in, get used to the catching duties, especially with a different catcher there in John Javier.
This is Jonah Weisner leading things off for the Welland Jackfish. 1-1 count now on him in the pitch. This one's hit in the air to center field. It's back near the warning track at the wall and gone. It sneaks over the center field wall. That's a home run for Jonah Weisner. And it's 1-0 Welland Jackfish.
Yeah, Wisner is having himself a solid start to the year. 389 average, 2 home runs, and he just clocked his third, and he finally hits double digits in RBIs with 10.
So a big swing there on the third pitch of the game as we take a look at the lineup for the Welland Jackfish today. That was Wisner leading off, and then Gio Morello, followed by Mateo Porcelato, Robert Mullen, then Jake Sanford, and then Brandon Hupe, Grayson Barrett, Josh Marchese, and Brandon Luther in the number 9 spot today for Welland. This is Gio Morello now, and he takes outside from Howard.
Morello, he's had the best start so far on the year for the Jackfish. 400, appeared in all 8 games so far, 12 hits. He has just been a staple point.
This one hit on the ground hard, and that one's going to find its way into the outfield past Spencer Ross, who's in at shortstop today for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs giving a little bit of rest to Rando Moreno. He's going to be the DH today. Zach Lampreia at third base, Dan Mara at second, and Justin Mara, who's playing a lot of third base this weekend. All 3 games, or first base, I should say, this weekend. Started all 3 games at first base for the Maple Leafs. And then John Javier, who's been doing a lot of catching for the Leafs lately, and he's just been an unbelievable hitter. He's behind the plate today.
Been a great story really early on in the season with John Javier. Hits in 7 of 8 games.
Mateo Porcelato, who's had just 5 at-bats on the season for Welland. It's in the number 3 spot. Morello, the runner at first base after the single. Here's the 0-1 from Howard. And it misses low.
And that off-speed missed low, but I like what Howard's doing right there and just changing up the tempo on the mound. These Welland Jackfish hitters have come out quickly, just swinging early in counts. He's taking the pace. He's slowing down. He's not giving the timing to the runner, Gio Morella.
The 1-1. That one finds the outside corner, strike 2. Robert Mullen, who's hitting .387 on the season, is on deck. Porcelato, the native of Pitt Meadows, BC. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Drew Howard elevates with the fastball and gets his first strikeout of the afternoon.
It's a good pitch by Howard. Really good sequence as well. He missed low a couple times with an off speed, but then he goes back with the high fastball, changed the eye level of the hitter in Porcelato, and it's a good job just getting that fastball. He has a fastball that really pops out of his hand. It's a good pitch, and if he can utilize it today, he can go pretty deep into this ballgame for the Maple Leafs.
It's a good spot for it, right up and in and on the hands. And when that fastball is coming in with some good zip on it, that's a good place to put it. First pitch to Mullen, that one misses outside.
I think the game plan we're probably going to see out of Howard is, again, use that fastball all over the zone, but to these right-handed hitters, it's going to be that slider low and away. Try to make them extend, force them to hit something the other way.
The 1-0 finds the outside corner, 1-1. Robert Mullen, one of the best hitters in the Intercounty Baseball League, back in 22, won the Reed Buck Memorial Trophy for the best hitter in the IBL. He's also played as high as AA baseball, playing with the Midland Rockhounds and the Oakland Athletics system.
He leads the squad so far this year with home runs 5, as well with RBIs in 12.
Yeah, tied for the IBL lead in home runs this season. Marcus Connect, who's been on an absolute tear for the Toronto Maple Leafs, has put himself in that conversation as well. And 2 more home runs last night against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, both to the deep part of the ballpark in Chatham-Kent, if there is one.
He's seen the ball extremely well to start off the season, and we're definitely going to be covering him a little bit more when he comes up to bat. But what a start to this season it's been for Marcus Connect.
He looks like vintage 2022 playoffs Marcus Connect right now at the plate.
That's what you love to see.
The 2-1s, swing and a miss, 2-2.
Again, I'm liking the sequencing so far here by Howard. The first 2 pitches of the at-bat, he started with a slider low and away, and then he frozen roped a beautiful fastball in the outside half, and that's how you establish the outside corner against right-handed hitting.
Howard's 2-2 pitch. Mullen hits one on the ground to Ross at shortstop, bobbles it, now picks it up, throws over to first to get the out. Good job there by Spencer Ross to stick with it. The Maple Leafs would have liked a double play ball there, but Spencer Ross, no panic. As soon as he saw, he didn't panic, threw the ball over to first base, just make sure the Maple Leafs got an out.
Yeah, as long as you can guarantee you get one there, still the damage is not too bad. Obviously, best case scenario, you want two and to leave a good hitter like Jake Sanford up on deck, but now you get one, you're one out away from finishing this inning.
Jake Sanford hitting .351 on the season, has really picked up the production of late. Had 4 hits in the last game against London, was 4 for 5, scored twice. One of them was a triple. He actually got off to, I guess, a bit of a slow start by Jake Sanford's standards.
Well, we saw the IBL rankings list come out during the preseason, and then a little bit into the season, we saw Sanford rank #1.
First pitch, in there for a strike. 0-1. Gio Morello, the runner out there at second base. Jake Sanford trying to drive him in. This would be a big batter to get here for Drew Howard to try and get through this first inning. Here's the 0-1. Sanford lines this one into the outfield. This one's going to get down and split the outfielders. Will cash in another run for the Welland Jackfish. Sanford on his way to second base, and he's in there with an RBI double, and it's 2-0 Jackfish.
Yeah, Jake Sanford has been a dangerous hitter his entire time with the Jackfish. Puts it on display there, a frozen rope into the left center gap, and really no play for anybody out there.
That was a composed at-bat there from Sanford. He was clearly a little bit out in front of that pitch, just timing-wise, but still was able to keep the hands back, get them to the baseball, and ended up hitting the ball the other way.
Yeah, and we're going to see that a lot from this start with Drew Howard. Is he's going to try to go away with a changeup, it looks like, in the outside corner to lefties. That's what Sanford got, and he just sat back. It was a good pitch, but just good hitters, they can make a great play with a good pitch.
First pitch strike to Brandon Hupe of the Welland Jackfish. Hupe, as many of these Jackfish are, off to a great start this season at the plate, hitting .364 on the year in 33 at-bats. The 0-1. In the dirt, goes to the backstop. Sanford will advance to third base.
Yeah, you talk about hot starts, 7-1 record. They've scored 66 runs coming into this one, only allowing 22.
Yeah. The only team that scored more runs than that, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The only difference is the Leafs also giving up the most runs. It's been
Yeah.
You give and you get. That's what's going on here with the Leafs so far to start the season.
They've been the best team offensively and the worst team ERA-wise this year. Although it's hard to have a good ERA playing at Christie Pitts with the smaller ballpark.
We've seen 3 straight sliders here, and Howard has definitely established that outside corner. Wouldn't be surprised here if we see a fastball outside. Try to get Hupe reaching for one.
The 1-2. Hupe takes just outside, 2-2.
Yeah, they elevate a little bit, go high and outside there. Not a bad spot. You want to try to make him reach, go with the fastball just a little bit further out.
Hupe played 4 games in the Frontier League last year, playing with the Trois Rivières. And on that team with his former teammate, James Smybert, as well. The 2-2, strike 3 called on the outside corner. Couple strikeouts in the inning from Drew Howard, but the big swing to lead things off, Jonah Weisner with the solo home run, and then Jake Sanford cashes in a run as well. 2-0 Welland Jackfish as we head to the bottom of the first.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com, because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
So as we mentioned before, the Maple Leafs and Welland Jackfish, two of the best teams in the Intercounty Baseball League this year offensively. How many times have we seen the Maple Leafs give up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 runs and still end up winning a baseball game? These are the OPS leaders in the Intercounty Baseball League by team this season, and they're the Maple Leafs with a team OPS of 941, and then the Welland Jackfish right behind them at 904. Could be a slugfest today at Dominico Field, but the Maple Leafs and Rob Butler have to be really happy with the approach that they've had at the plate this season.
And it's been sensational, really. Like, and you look at the top of this batting order, Ryan Dos Santos, he leads the way for this team. His OPS over 1,000, but a large part of it is because he's getting on base over 50% of the time. He steps up. The walk rate has been sensational again. To his standards, he's not hitting the ball like he wants to, and I think that's the scary thing for the teams in the IBL, when he thinks he's not playing well, but he's still getting on base over 50% of the time.
So this may be the toughest test for Jose Dominguez, the new Welland Jackfish pitcher this season. He's pitched in 2 games, one just a 2-inning outing against Hamilton back on May 18th. Was brilliant in those 2 innings of work, and then against Brantford maybe even better. Gave up 2 runs over 6, struck out 6 batters, had a really good start, and Zach did not walk a batter. And that's pertinent information at the moment because the IBL walks leader, Ryan Dos Santos, who already has 17 on the season, is going to lead things off for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, he had a keen eye last year, but it just seems like his mindset and approach to the play has gotten better.
Dos Santos takes strike 1. With that being said, Jose Dominguez hasn't walked anybody in the Intercounty Baseball League yet in the first 8 innings that he's pitched. Here's the 0-1. That pitch just misses outside, 1-1. Ryan Dos Santos hitting .258 on the season for the Maple Leafs, but getting on base at an unbelievable rate. Has an OPS of 1.037. Anytime your OPS starts before the decimal point, it's a good sign if you're a batter at the plate. The 2-1, that one misses inside as well. How about this? 3-1, Ryan Dos Santos, who just has this innate ability to get on base via the walk, has worked a 3-1 count to Dominguez, and that's outside ball 4, and you've got to be kidding me. Jose Dominguez, who hasn't walked anyone in the Intercounty Baseball League, has walked Ryan Dos Santos, who walks in almost half his at-bats, and he's got 18 now on the season.
Again, like I said, the on-base percentage coming in today, .521. He gets on base over 50% of his at-bats. His on-base is higher than his slugging. His slugging is .516.
Yeah, unbelievable. That's so rare that you see that. Here's John Javier, who's just been tearing the cover off the baseball since he came to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Has just been such a lovely surprise for this Maple Leafs team. I don't think they knew exactly what they were getting, but they knew that they were getting a real good young talent in John Javier, and he's just been sensational. Here's the 1-0. Javier, a big swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, anytime you come into a new team and you bat .421 with a .711 slugging, it's pretty good. It's pretty good numbers right there for a number 2 hitter.
3 more hits in that game against Chatham-Kent last night. Dos Santos with a step towards second base before he broke back. Ryan Dos Santos was going.
Yeah, he was leaning heavily there. 6 steals, 2 caught stealing. And me and you had a chat with him. He says he had fantastic stolen base numbers when he played for the Henderson Flash. He actually broke the record. And he said he wants to get back to that. He wants to get back to using his speed.
Yeah, Ryan Dos Santos got caught stealing last night, but it was just an unbelievable throw. Mitzi Fukuda is a fantastic defensive catcher for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. He was able to get Ryan Dos Santos at second base, and he's dealing with another pretty good defensive catcher today as well, and Robert Mullen. The 1-2. Javier takes outside 2-2. John Javier is not known to draw a walk in the Intercounty Baseball League. Hasn't done it yet this season. But if you throw the ball in the strike zone, doesn't matter if it's inside or outside, he just does it, takes what the pitcher gives him and drives it into the outfield. The 2-2, foul tipped at home plate.
He just makes contact and only has 4 strikeouts on the year. Like you said, no walks, but he just hits the ball. He has a great eye and a great bat-to-ball skill.
Rando Moreno, who's in the DH spot, is on deck, and he's been a great RBI guy for the Maple Leafs this season. 2-2 on John Javier. He takes low and maybe a bit away, 3-2.
This has been the difference of this Maple Leafs team. Patient hitters. They all have a plan at the plate. They don't chase, extend their zone. They know what they want. They know their zone. And they just wait for the pitcher to throw it there.
The full count pitch from Dominguez. Swinging a chopper right back towards home, and that ball's going to die on the grass. That's an infield single for John Javier. Dominguez watched that ball just hoping that it would roll into foul territory, but it planted itself right in that infield grass here at Dominico Field.
That's the knowledge of playing on your home ballpark. You know that
sure.
That one goes up that high, and once it hits the grass, it just dies. The grass here at Christie Pitts, really, it kind of kills any baseball, whether it be the infield or the outfield. John Javier just hit that sky high, had a hope and a prayer that it would stay fair, and it did.
Now it's Rando Moreno at the plate for the Maple Leafs. First pitch, Moreno hits this one in the air to center field. This one's going to be playable. Gio Morello back towards the wall and makes the catch. Ryan Dos Santos tags and advances to third base.
That right there, that's doing a job. Rando Moreno knew exactly what he needed to do there. Just get the ball in the air, you know the speed on second base, advance him up until he's 90 feet away for maybe the hottest hitter on the Maple Leafs right now.
Maybe the hottest hitter in the IBL right now in Marcus Connect. He's been tearing the cover off the baseball. 2 for 4 in each of his last 3 games, but he has 3 home runs in his last 2.
Did he change his walk-up song?
He did.
I like it a lot.
So,
this is a great tune.
Okay, so here's the story behind that. So Marcus Connect changed his walk-up song last game, and what does he do in his first at-bat after the new walk-up song? Drills a grand slam.
Yeah, that song ain't changing anytime
So he's
soon.
sticking with it, yeah.
If anybody's curious, the song's called Swag Surfin'.
You know it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs made that their theme song for one of their Super Bowl runs.
Yeah, so back when Marcus Connect broke into the IBL back in 2009, this was the first ever walk-up song that he ever had. So that's why he's sticking with it. That one was up and in, and oh, there you go. John Javier's going to advance an extra 90 feet. Marcus Connect thought maybe he got hit with that baseball, but that was not the case. It skipped away from Mullen, and the Maple Leafs have 2 in scoring position for Connect.
Not sure if you noticed it, but John Javier, he was going, but he had to make sure that the ump didn't call dead ball. So
Right.
he got off the base, saw that the ump didn't signal for anything, then he took off. So heads up play by 77, gets in a scoring position. Tying run now in scoring position.
And Marcus Connect is in a hitter's count now. 2-0. And he hits one on the ground to third. That's a fair ball. Is going to score a run. John Javier going for 3. He gets to third base as well. It's an RBI ground out for Marcus Connect, but that's exactly what he needed to do, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, the speed of Dos Santos, you knew he was going to be breaking on contact, does just that. Leafs cut into this 2-run deficit. Marcus Connect attaches another RBI.
Just a good baseball IQ play there from John Javier as well. He took a couple extra steps off of second base, knew that the third baseman, Jake Sanford, wasn't going to have time to look him back. He was just going to have to throw that ball over to the first base as soon as he caught it, so he gets an extra 90 feet as well. For Dan Mara, he's also been good at the plate of late.
Yeah, what a story for Dan Mara. It's been back-to-back games with a home run. The biggest was the one in Brantford, or here when they played Brantford, the 3-run shot to tie it.
Yeah. Yeah, had a home run against Brantford, had a home run against Guelph. Didn't get one against Chatham Kent, but he made up for it by going 3 for 4.
Yeah, and I mean, when Dan Mara is seeing the ball as well as he is right now, it lengthens out this lineup just even more. Such a smart hitter.
Yeah, I talked to Dan Mara after the game, and he's not trying to be a home runner. He said, one of the best pieces of advice that he got from one of his college coaches is that home runs happen by accident. Home runs are the result of putting a good swing on the ball. And when Dan Mara gets the head out on the baseball, they go sometimes.
Maple Leafs have 4 everyday starters with an OPS over 1,000. Dan Mara sits just underneath with a 977.
3-0 pitch right down the middle for a strike. Yeah, not bad. So I asked Dan as well after the game, what's sparking all this power coming out of his bat? He said he's got the resistance band going at work. and Greek yogurt.
And Greek yogurt? Greek yogurt all the way.
The 3-1 in there for a strike as well, and the count runs full. That's Jose Dominguez, though. He's a battler out there on the mound for the Welland Jackfish. Goes down in the count, then gets right back in at 3-2. Mara takes outside ball 4. Gutsy take there from Dan Mara, finds his way on third base, and here comes his brother Justin.
Your first baseman, number 9, Justin Mara.
Justin Mara, he continues to just have quietly good years. He's always productive for the Maple Leafs, and it's kind of been the same thing so far to start the year. He's had the moments where he's shined, but again, just a quietly productive year to start the year out of number 9, coming in batting .270.
Yeah, he's already got a couple home runs on the season too. That's exactly what they need from Justin Mara. Justin takes low and outside, ball 1. Dan Mara at first and John Javier at third. 2 outs in the inning. Turning point here if Dominguez can get Justin Mara. Welland Jackfish can keep the league, and Justin trying to get into a baseball here and see if he can't drive in an extra run here for the Maple Leafs with 2 outs.
Just been a good answer back by the Maple Leafs. You get the Drew Howard shutdown after giving up the leadoff home run, and then the second run off the bat of Jake Sanford. But this is a good answer back here for the Leafs.
2-0, also outside. So Dominguez falls behind 3-0 to back-to-back hitters. He's already walked 2 batters in the inning, something he hasn't done all season. But we saw him battle back last at-bat against Dan Mara. See if he can do the same thing here against Justin. The 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. Robert Mullen looks back at the home plate umpire. Justin Mara looked like he thought maybe that was going to get called a strike as well. And the bases are loaded. And here comes Spencer McInnes.
Only 11 plate appearances so far this year. The numbers have looked so good, very good in those 11 plate appearances. 500 average, 1,600 OPS. Now, granted, those numbers might come back down to earth, but he started off really well with the Maple Leafs.
McInnes fouls the ball back, and this is something we saw him do a lot in the game against Guelph, get a really good swing on the baseball and just miss it. He also got a couple baseballs as well, hit them both out of the ballpark in that game against the Guelph Royals. He was 3 for 4, just fantastic, but he's got a really sweet swing in the batter's box for the Maple Leafs and earning some playtime there in the outfield.
And I do like that decision to swing first pitch. You just witnessed a 4-pitch walk. You know that Dominguez has to come back into the zone. Why not just let it rip on the first pitch?
Here's the 1-1. McInnes hits a high chopper. This one's to second base. Throw to first in time to get the out. So Dominguez does give up 1. Marcus Connect drives 1 in for the Maple Leafs, but man, it could have been worse for the Welland Jackfish. They escape a little bit of trouble there against the Maple Leafs in the inning. To the second we go here at Christie Pitts.
To be the best, you've got to bring performance from every second. The game is getting faster every season. So Rawlings made a time machine to help you keep up. Introducing the all-new Velo ACP. It's light, it's balanced, so you can pick your pitch and drive the ball with maximum exit velocity. The game's gotten faster. Your bat has too.
Well, a good game we have here on a Sunday afternoon at Christie Pitts. The Welland Jackfish, who have been taking the Intercounty Baseball League by storm this season. 7-1 on the season. We're 7-0, lost last game against London. And then the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are 1 game above 500 and 1 game above the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, who they lost to last night as well. Both of these teams coming off losses and are looking for a bounce-back performance. But for the Maple Leafs, not the easiest thing to do when you're on the back end of a 3-3. Welland Jackfish playing their 2nd game in 2 days. And Drew Howard trying to get back on track here for the Maple Leafs. Gave up a couple, but showing signs of being really effective for the Maple Leafs.
He's mixed his pitches well in that first inning. Welland, again, just a team of just really good hitters. Sanford, he made him pay on a good pitch.
2-0. That one misses outside. 3-0. And now Howard has fallen behind Grayson Barrett, who's leading things off for the Jackfish. Rio pitch in the dirt, ball 4.
Yeah, the plan early on just seems like low and away to each side. So with all the lefties, it's low and away with the changeup, and then all the righties low and away with that slider.
It's going to bring Josh Marchese to the plate, a native of Langley, BC. Hitting just 167 on the season, but also just 18 at-bats. Marchese takes strike 1. Good bounce-back pitch there from Howard after the 4-pitch walk to Grayson Barrett. Here's the 0-1. This one slashed down the line, foul.
Looked like he went off speed, hung it over the middle there.
Yeah, Marchese hit that ball hard, but he was well out in front of it.
All you got to do is just change the eye level of these hitters. You can see Javier signaling high.
0-2 in the dirt. John Javier looked like he wanted that ball down and in, trying to throw a similar location to the pitch before where Marchese was well out in front. This time he puts it in the dirt. Here's the 1-2. Cued foul right to the backstop. Marchese got that one off the end of the bat, and I think it's pretty clear he's hunting fastballs right now, and Drew Howard knows it. An odd wind today here at Christie Pitts, blowing kind of out to center field, but this time from left to right. First time we've seen that this season at Dominico Field. Here's the 1-2, and this one's chopped foul towards first base.
A lot of off speeds in this at-bat so far.
I think Drew Howard is seeing this as an opportunity to get Marchese to ground into a double play here.
He's really trying to roll it here.
Yeah. This time he's going upstairs, looks like, with the fastball. And it's fouled off this time to the left.
And that's not a bad pitch. You want to change the eye level of Marchese, because you got options here now. You can go back with an off speed, or you can try to raise his eye level again. But it's a good setup pitch.
Marchese with a homer and 4 RBIs on the young season for Welland. The 1-2 in the dirt. 2-2.
So you opted to go back down low. Looked like the changeup again.
Brendan Luther is on deck for the Welland Jackfish. He's had a good start to the season, hitting .333. Marchese trying to keep the line moving. The 2-2 pitch from Drew Howard, and it's just inside. Oh, this has been a great battle here by Marchese and Howard, and Drew Howard really wanted that pitch to finish the at-bat.
It's a great spot for the fastball. We got to credit Marchese right there. That's a big-time take. He's seen everything blown away, goes in with a fastball mid-high, and just does not swing through it.
The 3-2 pitch. Low, ball 4. A hard-earned walk there from Josh Marchese, and here comes Brendan Luther.
Didn't get the inside call. Thought he would be able to get that outside call, but not calling anything right there on the just on the outer half. So you got the number 9 hitter, then the top of the order right back up.
Yeah, Drew Howard would love to get an out here before things turn back over to Jonah Weisner and crew, who hit a home run in his last at-bat. First pitch to Luther. An off-speed pitch, finds the outer half, and there for a strike 0-1.
And he's done a good job establishing the outside half. These Welland hitters are just, they adjusted.
Howard, 36 pitches into this outing here in the top of the second. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Howard, and he's ahead 0-2.
Yeah, blows the fastball on the inner half right by him. So here you can try to set up something on the outside half again. You try to go fastball outside half. If he doesn't chase and it's a ball, well, then you set up yourself for a really nice changeup again.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. To that point, though, Zach, when you're 36, 37 pitches into this outing, the Maple Leafs have some guys in the bullpen. They'll have some people available today, but you almost wonder if on these 0-2 pitches you want to try and attack a little bit more just to try and get out of this inning with the pitch count in check.
Yeah, obviously the best case scenario is Howard to give you at least 5.
Here's the 1-2. Swing a foul tip at home plate. The Maple Leafs asked for 5 innings from Josh Berenbaum last game against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, and even though he was fighting that breaking ball a little bit, he was still able to give them those 5 innings and got a little bit of rest for the Maple Leafs bullpen as well. And he battled. Like when Josh Berenbaum was taken out of that game, the Toronto Maple Leafs still very much had a chance to win the ball game. And those are some important innings that are helping the Maple Leafs win today. Ball fouled back once again by Luther.
This bottom 3 of the order, they are causing havoc right now for Howard. Just lengthy at-bats, and you know, that's how you just string out a starting pitcher. The bottom of the order just kind of makes things just really nitty and gritty.
Here's the 1-2. Just outside, 2-2. You know, there's always a lot of talk about fatigue being related to pitch count, and while that's true, I think it's even more related to pitch count in the same inning. You throw 30, 35 pitches in the same inning, might be equivalent to 15 pitches in 2 innings. 15 pitches in 2 innings might be better than having them all come out at the same time. The 2-2, strike 3 called. Drew Howard paints one on the inner half and gets a big out number 1.
It's a great pitch. Luther saw everything outside, off speed, and then Howard just sneaks a fastball in the inner half.
So back to the top of the order now, and it's Jonah Weisner. Weisner, a couple years ago, played with 3 different teams, the Ottawa Braves, the Sylvan Lake Gulls, who are in the WCBL, and then 1 game for the Quebec Capitals. And he hits this one, a diving play at second base by Mara. Throw to first, not in time. Good effort there by Dan Mara, but now the bases are loaded for the Jackfish.
That was hit soft enough. I think Mara might have just saved a run. But again, hustling out of the box was Weisner. Looks like corners are going to play in here. Middle infield goes double play depth.
Maple Leafs could really use a big strikeout here from Drew Howard. That or a double play ground ball would be the ideal situation. But Gio Morello's a tough out, hitting .419 on the season now after a hit in his first at-bat. Takes inside, ball one. Gio Morello also has that OPS up over 1,000 this season for Welland. 5 RBIs on the season as well, and now he's found himself in a hitter's count 2-0. The 2-0 pitch in there for a strike, 2-1. So the closest player to Ryan Dos Santos in terms of the IBL lead in walks that's not on the Toronto Maple Leafs is Gio Morello. Another one of those guys whose on-base percentage is higher than his slugging this season. He's walked 8 times on the season. The 2-1, that one just misses as well, and you could see a little bit of frustration there from John Javier. He thought his pitcher, Howard, had made a good pitch, but now it's 3-1.
Yeah, I think Howard as well as Javier just think, the corners again a little bit squeezed on them. He's making good pitches. You also got to credit these Welland Jackfish hitters. They're laying off those tough pitches.
This is a big 3-1 pitch here. Bases loaded, 1 out. And it's hit on the ground, and this one's going to sneak through the infield. It'll score 1 run. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's cut off, and the Welland Jackfish lead 4-1 on an RBI single from Gio Morello.
That looks like the exact same placement that the Weisner hit was. Just finds that hole between second and first. And this top of the order, again, they're doing the damage.
Another dangerous hitter here, the number 3 guy in Matteo Porcelato. Was struck out in his last at-bat. First and second, 1 out here for the Jackfish. They've got 2 in the inning. This one hit on the ground. Dan Mara gobbles it up, now drops it. Now he throws to first, and it's in time to get the out. Maple Leafs record 1 out on the play, but that looked like a tailor-made ground ball there to Dan Mara.
Yeah, and that's tough because of the 2 hitters that are coming up. Robert Mullen, and then on deck, Jake Sanford. You were hoping just to get that tailor-made double play. You flip it over, end the inning. I got a couple extra pitches.
Two in scoring position. Maple Leafs really need to get Robert Mullen here because with the way the Welland Jackfish pitching staff has thrown this season, runs have been hard to come by when you're playing against them. Mullen hits this one on the ground to third base. Zach Lamprey picks it up, throws to first in time to get the out. Couple more runs come in to score for the Welland Jackfish, and they lead 4-1 over Toronto. We'll take a quick break.
Zach Lamprey leading things off here for the Maple Leafs, third baseman today. Lamprey hasn't seen a whole lot of action so far this year. Only 5 plate appearances. He draws the start. That one inside. Count runs even here, 1-1. Fouled off to the backstop. Lamprey, when he came into the Maple Leafs, known as for his defensive side, has a very good bat, or excuse me, very good glove over there at third.
Yeah, we've seen him be used as a defensive replacement a number of times. On Friday, he filled in at first base once Justin Morrow was taken out of the game. Did a good job over there to close it out.
Really, you know what you're going to get from him defensively, and as a defensive replacement late in games, it's not a bad option to have. What the Leafs are just kind of hoping to have is just, you know, some production out of the bat. Just kind of flip that lineup over. Chases the high fastball, wanted to hold back but couldn't. It's a strikeout right there for Jose Dominguez.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as good as the offense has been thus far to start the season, you haven't seen a lot out of Lamprey now. That's just his 6th plate appearance, I believe, so he hasn't hit a whole lot. You haven't gotten much out of Jeffrey Mejia either. Both those guys they've used late in games, defense replacements, both seeing time at first. Lamprey on the left side of the infield as well a little bit.
So bring up the shortstop, number 2, Spencer Ross. We usually see Ross over at third, but with the Rando Moreno DH day, Ross slides over to fill in at short. Big cut right there. Looked like a slider on the other half. Quickly ahead here is Dominguez, 0-2.
And speaking of rest days, this is the 3rd straight day that John Javier has caught a ball game for the Maple Leafs.
Ooh, Dominguez, he wanted that slider called on the outside half. Doesn't get it. Spencer, I was say Spencer Ross in the start of the season, the average doesn't really speak to how well he's done in the 9-hole, flipping the lineup. This one hit to the left side, picked up, throw across the diamond in time to get number 2.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 8, Ryan Dos Santos.
Back to the top of the order we go. Ryan Dos Santos worked a walk, the first walk of the season, given up by Jose Dominguez. Low and away, and stop me when you've heard this before, Gus. Dos Santos ahead of the count, 1-0.
Yeah, we've seen it an awful lot so far this season. 18 walks now for Dos Santos.
Very patient. Great eye at the plate. 1-1 is the count. Dominguez gets his pitch. Here's the delivery. Called strike 2 on the outside half.
It's a pitch that Drew Howard is probably sitting in the dugout right now wondering why you can't get that outside corner after the way last inning happened.
The dirt evened up 2-2. And yeah, when you look at, you know, some of the calls on the outside half, those are what I like to say are 50-50 calls. It's really the discretion of the umpire, and Howard wishing, yeah, maybe I got some of those on my side, as Dos Santos swings through the fastball. And it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Welland Jackfish, who still lead this one 4-1 through 2.
To be the best, you've got to ring performance from every second. The game is getting faster every season. So Rawlings made a time machine to help you keep up. Introducing the all-new Velo ACP. It's light, it's balanced, so you can pick your pitch and drive the ball with maximum exit velocity. The game's gotten faster. Your bat has too.
Jake Sanford lead things off here for the Welland Jackfish. So it'll be Sanford, Hoope, and Barnett, 3. Ground ball taken on a hop by Mara. He'll take it himself. 1 pitch, 1 out for Drew Howard against a dangerous Jake Sanford.
Number 21, Brandon.
Well, it's a big first out there for Drew Howard. He's given up a couple runs in each of the first 2 innings. Trying to get through a clean frame here against the Welland Jackfish. Brandon Hoope at the plate now for Welland. And he takes strike 1.
He went down looking his last time up. And again, it was a really good pitch sequence out of Howard. He got him with 2 sliders outside, and then he rammed a fastball right by him.
The 0-1 misses low, and pitch number 52 on the afternoon makes it 1-1. Hoope swings through that one, count 1-2. Brandon Hoope hitting .353 on the season for Welland.
Looks like the same sequencing that Howard had against him the first time. Gets ahead here with 2 off speeds.
1-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Drew Howard elevates with the fastball and gets a quick first 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd.
It's a fantastic start. Gets Sanford swinging on the first pitch, and 4 pitches later, he gets Hoope swinging and missing.
Now it's Grayson Barrett, and he takes a first pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Grayson Barrett played in the NAIA for 3 seasons between 21 and 23, and then before that with the Edmonton Prospects in the WCBL. Also spent a little bit of time with the Moose Jaw Miller Express in that league in 2019.
Barrett really worked a fantastic at-bat to start off the 2nd inning. Walked in later, scored on the 2 RBI single by Gio Morella.
2-0, a swung on a miss there. Gutsy pitch there from Drew Howard. Goes off speed on the 2-0 pitch. He's got a good feel for everything in this inning. The 2-1 from Howard. Swing on a ground ball. This one's to Dan Mara. A chest-high hop. He flips it over to first in time to get the out. And how about that? A clean 1-2-3, top of the 3rd inning from Drew Howard. It's the Welland Jackfish who lead 4-1 over Toronto.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com, because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Back here at Dominico Field, Dominguez getting ready to go here for the bottom of the 3rd inning as we take a look at the ERA leaders in the Intercounty Baseball League. And let me tell you, the Welland Jackfish had an even bigger lead in this department before last night, 1-7-1 coming into the game, and they give up 9 runs against the London Majors. But their pitching staff this season has been their key to success.
And really, when you look at the Intercounty Baseball League as a whole, every team that has had success in the past couple of years, it's been the pitching staff that has really just propelled them forward. Welland this year, their pitchers have come out red hot, not giving up anything. Just done a really good job up and down that pitching staff.
Yeah, they used 4 of the 5 import spots that are new to the Intercounty Baseball League this season. Last year was 4 on pitchers. They used it on Davey Mendez, Layer, Dominguez, and Ortega. And then the only batter that's an import for the Welland Jackfish is their catcher, Robert Mullen, who works with the pitchers quite frequently. So you could even say that's kind of an investment in the pitching as well. Not to say Robert Mullen is known for his defense. He's known for his bat. He's a good defender, but one of the best hitters in the IBL to boot. Line drive up the middle, and John Javier does it again. Infield single and a sharp line drive base hit. Javier is 2 for 2.
Just more hard contact out of the 2-hole spot in the lineup.
Maple Leafs number 3 hitter and DH Rando Moreno comes to the plate now. Moreno 0 for 1 today, but hitting .341 on the season for the Leafs. Squaring to bunt and take strike 1.
Very clever play considering how far back Jake Sanford was playing. He was well behind that third base bag. Now he'll play even with it.
There's the 0-1. Moreno swings and misses. That an off-speed pitch that time from Dominguez. Moreno with 12 RBIs on the season for the Leafs. Here's the 0-2. Moreno takes strike 3 called on the outside corner. Dominguez caught him looking.
Working quickly was Jose Dominguez in that at-bat.
And now Marcus Connect, who has the lone RBI on the day for the Maple Leafs. A ground out to third base in his last at-bat was good enough to cash a run. Connect with a runner on first base and John Javier as he fouls off the first pitch from Dominguez. Jose Dominguez came into this start with an ERA of 2.25 in the 8 innings pitched. Not a ton of strikeouts though, 7 strikeouts in the 8 innings.
So far through 2 1/3, 3 strikeouts.
The 0-1 in the dirt, gets away from Mullen, and John Javier advances the extra 90 feet. That ball didn't get very far away from the catcher Robert Mullen, but Javier picked up on it right away and got himself into scoring position.
He's just such an aware base runner. That ball immediately got away. He saw how far and he took off.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Connect looking for a fastball right there. He got greeted with that slider on the outer half.
Yeah, just watching John Javier last night in Chatham, Kent. He's just such a hard contact machine out there for the Maple Leafs. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. I think it was foul tipped into the glove of Mullen. 4th strikeout for Dominguez.
So loud contact on the first batter of the inning, and how does Dominguez respond? Back-to-back strikeouts.
Well, the Maple Leafs are going to need a big hit here from one of their veterans to cash in John Javier. He's got great speed at second base, so he'll score on a base hit, or else he'll try and score on a base hit here from Dan Mara. And base hits are Dan Mara's MO. Just trying to come up with a professional at bat and hit something into the outfield.
Worked a walk back in the first, was stranded on second.
The 1-0, hit down the line, foul, off to the left and past his manager, Rob Butler.
He waited on that too and was still out in front. Mara seeing the off-speed well here.
John Javier at second base. Dan Mara at the plate, 1-1, 2 outs. Mara hits this one into the outfield on a line, but right there is Mateo Porcelato to make the catch. Some hard contact from Dan Mara, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are unable to score in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's the Jackfish who lead 4-1. Well, back here at Dominico Field, it's the Welland Jackfish with a 4-1 lead over the Maple Leafs. Drew Howard back on the mound, and Zach, he looked like he found something in that last inning.
Yeah, it looked really good. Got Sanford, who's an extremely good hitter, just a roll over on a first pitch off speed and then worked a strikeout.
This one's hit pretty well, but foul down the line. This is Josh Marchese at the plate. Marchese walked in his last at bat, but it was a heck of a battle between batter and pitcher.
Yeah, the 7-8 batters in the second inning really worked Howard hard. Just back-to-back tough, grueling at-bats that were both won by the hitters.
Yeah. And then they turn things over the top of the lineup, and what happens? They score 2 more runs. That's what happens when you have runners on base in the top of that Welland Jackfish lineup coming up. The 1-1 finds the zone 1 and 2.
And what was it that Rob Butler said before the game? The Welland Jackfish, that's what they do really, really well. They get guys on, and they're really good at just cashing in those runs.
Yeah. Good on the base path, too. Lots of speed out there for Welland. The 1-2 fouled straight back. Pitch was in on Marchese's hands, but he did a good job of just getting his hands to the baseball and making sure he made some contact. The 1-2 misses low, 2-2.
Not a bad option. Again, another changeup, it looks like, just inside that time.
2-2 from Howard. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big punch out from Drew Howard, and starts the top of the 4th inning off well as well.
It's been a good little run here for Howard.
This is what Howard needed to do back in the 2nd inning, get the bottom of the order. Now he's got Brendan Luther, the number 9 hitter, and then Jonah Weisner, who's hitting .421 now in the season with the 2 hits he has today. He's on deck. Pitch to Luther, outside, ball 1.
You got Luther looking last time. It was a changeup on the outside that really just kind of froze Luther. Wasn't expecting the call. Howard did get it.
Pitch number 66 coming here from Drew Howard, and it just misses outside.
He's trying to find that well once more. 2 back-to-back pitches on the outside half.
(2-0) now on Luther. And it's hit on the ground to first. Gobbled up there by Justin Mara. He comes over and makes the out at first base, and that's 2 away now, and here comes Jonah Weisner.
How big would it be here just to go 1, 2, 3 again for Howard?
Yeah.
And get a good hitter, and Weisner retired.
6 batters in a row now retired by Drew Howard. First pitch just misses. You know, you've seen a couple times in this outing where Howard obviously disagrees with the call by the home plate umpire, but hasn't let it get to his head. Comes right back out and makes a good pitch. Oh, that one just missed low.
That's what we like to call the Castor curse.
Thought I'd go out on a limb there. Didn't work. The 0-2 misses high, 3-0. Howard trying to find the strike zone here against Weisner. And he will not. That's inside, ball 4. Couple close pitches in the at-bat. And now it brings up Gio Morello, who's already driven in 2 runs today for Welland. Morello did that in his last at-bat with a bouncing RBI single through the right side.
Yeah, and it was really the 2 soft singles that were hit that got the 2 runs on the board. Dan Mara made a great diving stop on the Weisner one. And then Gio Morello hit in the exact same spot, just maybe a little bit further to the right, and Mara just couldn't get there.
Line drive on a hop to second. Dan Mara fields it, flips it over to first base in time, and another good inning from Drew Howard, who has really got things back on track for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Also gets a handshake there from Rob Butler. I wonder if they're talking about if he has enough gas in the tank for one more inning. 4-1 Welland Jackfish. They lead here at Dominico Field. Justin Mara leading things off for the Maple Leafs, facing Jose Dominguez, who's looked really good on the mound. He's been sharp for the Jackfish so far today. Justin Mara walked in his last at-bat, now getting to see Dominguez for the second time. And he takes a first pitch outside, ball one.
Mara was a part of the threat that the Leafs had in that first inning where they left the bases loaded. But really, other than that, it's been quiet work. Jose Dominguez has settled down.
The 1-1. Mara swings and misses. Two perfectly placed breaking balls that time from Dominguez. And Justin Mara falls behind in the count. Justin Mara is hitting .270 on the season. Driven in 3 runs for the Maple Leafs this year. The 1-2. Low and away. 2-2. Mara fouls one off at home plate. Justin Mara spent some time in the Chicago Cubs system in his early playing career. Was a 15th round draft pick of Chicago back in 2011. And then came to the Intercounty Baseball League and won an MVP back in 2017. And I think a big reason for the Maple Leafs' success this season hasn't necessarily been the new guys coming to the team. It's been the guys that didn't perform as well last year starting to really step up this season.
Yeah, I think 1 through 9 really the offense understands. You know, we got to pick each other up, and that's exactly what they've done early in the season.
Strike 3 called. Dominguez paints one over the outside corner, and Mara goes down looking. Justin Mara with some words for the home plate umpire. Thought that pitch might have been a bit outside.
Number 22, Spencer McKinnon.
Spencer McKinnis, who's had a red-hot start to his Intercounty Baseball League career, bunts this one right off home plate. Back to Dominguez. He throws to first, and he throws it down the line. That one took a difficult hop for the first baseman Marchese, but how about Brendan Luther coming back to back up that play, the second baseman?
Yeah, big play by Luther, and just great speed out of the box right there by McKinnon. McInnes gets the bunt down, makes Dominguez have to rush that throw, and made that throw not a good one.
Yeah, it was going to be a close play at first base, but that's a difficult E1 there on Dominguez. That's what they were going to score it. Adam Jaffine getting loose in the bullpen, the former Welland Jackfish for the Maple Leafs. Here's the third baseman, Zach Lamprey. His job here is try and move Spencer McInnes up to second base, you'd have to think. Whether that be soft ground ball to the right side, a base hit.
Yeah, just anything to really get on base here. This would be a big moment to get back to the top of the order with only one out. This is what Welland does so well with their hitters. This is what the Leafs are hoping to get from their 8-9.
You can see Brendan Luther, who's up the middle for the Jackfish, is really playing Zach Lamprey at a pull. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Right down the middle, strike one.
It's been a quiet first couple innings, but the Bushmen have finally made their noise, their voices heard.
Yeah. They've got the megaphone down there, and it's, everyone can hear it in the ballpark. Every time they have a good chirp. Get a little round of applause from the crowd. 3-2 on Lamprey. Swinging a pop-up straight up at home plate, but it gets back onto the hillside. Boy, Dominguez has found himself in 3-0 counts on multiple occasions in this game against the Maple Leafs. He's walked a few guys after the 3-0 pitch, but every time he's come back in the count and made it a competitive at-bat, and now he's in the 3-2 count here in a bit of a battle with Zach Lamprey. Another 3-2 pitch. Lamprey takes low, ball 4. The runner, Spencer McInnes, was scampering back to first base. Might as well, just in case it got called strike 3, but that ball was in the dirt, and now there's 2 on. And what an at-bat there from Zach Lamprey. 3-0, battles for a little bit, fouls the pitch off, and then draws the walk.
Yeah, that's just what you want to see of the number 8 hitter. As well, for Lamprey, a guy that hasn't hit the ball really at all so far this year, it's got to feel good. You get on base, you're trying to just move this train on. You know, you want now Spencer Ross try to flip this order, give some runners on the pond for the top of the order, and Dos Santos.
Yeah, Lamprey with just 4 at-bats for the Maple Leafs coming into the game today, but he's been a good utility tool for the Maple Leafs, especially defensively. They've had him at third base a little bit. We even saw him play first base in that game against the Guelph Royals. Good guy to have on your team. Here's the number 9 hitter in Spencer Ross, and he hits this one on the ground towards the middle. Play bobbled at shortstop, throw to first, not in time. Oh, the slight bobble by Jonah Weisner cost them an out, but they still do record 1 on the forced play at second.
And I think they're going to argue that he wasn't on the base. He bobbled it, and I think they're going to talk about it here.
Well, Brian Sewell has come in from first base.
Looks like the first base umpire is just trying to push Sewell back, but he was just trying to have a conversation with the umpire that made the call.
Yeah, I think Sewell is fighting 2 battles at once. One is challenging the call at second base. The second one is trying to deal with the umpire. With the umpire, the first base umpire, who was pushing him back towards first base.
And are they gonna talk about it? It looks like the one ump is going over. Yeah, they are gonna discuss it.
There you go. That was.
I think that's all that Brian Sewell wanted to happen, was a discussion.
Worth the argument there from Sewell. Very rarely do you see this play get overturned, though. When they're gonna say out at second base, so that the call stands. So 2 away, runners on the corners. I mean, that could have been a double play ball for the Maple Leafs. But now they bring up Ryan Dos Santos, who walked in his first at-bat of the game, and it was the first walk by Dominguez all season. Who else to record that on Dominguez's record? First pitch in there for a strike to Dos Santos. Went off speed for strike one. The 0-1 pitch from Dominguez. Dos Santos chops this one to Weisner. Short, it eats him up and gets into the outfield. Well, Ryan Dos Santos puts the ball in play, and it results in another run for the Maple Leafs. The lead 4-2 in favor of Welland.
And that's just a very interesting play by Weisner, because you know that on a big hopper like that, that second bounce is going to be a wicked one. Thought he might just play it off the second bounce, but no, he tries to one-hop it and does not work for him. Works in favor for the Leafs.
I wonder if the speed of Dos Santos coming down the line might have affected things a little bit for Jonah Weisner at shortstop. But the only play I think Weisner would have had there is if he came in and got that ball in the big high hop. That's what he had to do there. This one's hit in the air by John Javier. He struck it pretty well, but it's going to hang up there for Hupe out there in right field. He makes the catch, but the Maple Leafs scratch across another run. And it's the Jackfish, whose lead is just 2 now. Maple Leafs able to scratch across a run in the bottom of the 4th inning and cut into the Jackfish lead. Bottom of the 5th inning now, and it's Adam Jaffine who's on the mound for the Maple Leafs. Jaffine is going up against his former team in the Welland Jackfish.
And it was a good start from Drew Howard. When you look at the numbers, he was able to sit down 7 of his last 8 batters he faced. And really, after that first inning, he settled down nicely. That's going to be a good piece down the long stretch for the Maple Leafs. If Drew Howard can kind of give you consistent outings like that, just allow yourself to stay in a ball game. I think that's the biggest thing the Leafs want.
Here's the 0-1 to Matteo Porcelato, and it's a breaking ball from Jaffine, and he finds the zone quickly ahead 0-2. Adam Jeffine has pitched for 3 teams in the Intercounty Baseball League. First, it was the Brantford Red Sox back in 2021, where he had a great season, 36 innings, an ERA of 3.71, then went to Welland in the summer of 2023. He's put up good numbers there as well, and now the Maple Leafs, 2 years later, have signed Adam Jeffine. And the ball's hit on the ground. This one's to Spencer Ross at short, throw to first in time to make the out.
Very much like Adam Jeffine's arsenal on the mound, and the way he throws the ball, he comes straight over the top, so it is hard for hitters to pick up that off speed, or that curveball I should say, with the fastball, because it's the same release point. You just have to really narrow it down to see if the ball's coming down straight out of the hand or if it goes up, and that's the kind of the only giveaway.
Robert Mullen at the dish now. Takes ball 1 from Jeffine. Adam Jeffine played D1 and D2 baseball. First, he played for the Northern Kentucky Norse for a couple seasons in 2014 and 15, and then the Charleston Eagles for 3 years in Division II. Pitch to Robert Mullen. This one's hit in the air, deep to center field, and it's gone. Robert Mullen with a solo home run, and the Jackfish are up 5-2.
Mullen was held in check in his first 2 plate appearances, both ground outs to the infield. That time elevates, and he's celebrating.
Yeah, that home run now puts Robert Mullen clear ahead in the #1 spot for home runs in the Intercounty Baseball League.
Third baseman number 13, Jake Sanford.
He's got 5 home runs on the season. It's going to bring Jake Sanford to the plate. He's driven in a run. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Jackfish get that 1 run back after the Jonah Weisner error at shortstop. Cashed in a run for the Maple Leafs in the bottom half of the 4th. Get it right back with a Robert Mullen solo home run. Here, top 5. Now it's Sanford, who has some pretty good power himself. Jake Sanford chops this one towards first base. That one's foul. Jake Sanford had a great performance in the home run derby last season in the All-Star game. Just showed tremendous power out there in Welland. Here's the 0-2. And it misses up and away.
Tried to elevate the fastball after giving him the breaking that he just rolled over on, but Sanford not biting.
Adam Jeffine's had a real good career in the Intercounty Baseball League through the 3 seasons he's pitched. A career ERA of 3.50 in the IBL. That pitch misses in the dirt, and Adam Jeffine obviously had that one slip out of his hand a little bit on the way to home plate. Two and 2 now on Sanford. Jake Sanford hits this one in the air to center field, and he's got into this one pretty well, and that one's gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Welland Jackfish, and they've extended the lead to 6-2.
These 2 power bats, they were held in check in the first 4 innings, but they've come alive here in the 5th. Sanford and Mullen just displaying the power, flexing it here on the Leafs.
Home run number 2 on the season for Jake Sanford. Give him 5 RBIs on the year as well. Actually 6 if you account for his RBI double in the last inning. Now it's the right fielder, Brendan Hupe. First pitch from Jeffine, and Hupe grounds this one to short. Big high hop there for Spencer Ross, and he throws on to first base to record the out. Spencer Ross has had a good day at shortstop, a position that hasn't played a ton of here with the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, 3 ground balls hit to him. He's converted all 3 of them. He's done a fantastic job filling in here for the maintenance day of Rando Moreno.
Jeffine gets a lefty here, and Grayson Barrett. 2 outs in the inning. 2 runs in for the Welland Jackfish on back-to-back home runs, and now Barrett gets hit with that breaking ball by Jaffine, so he'll head down to first base.
It looks like Jaffine just does not have a feel for that breaking ball right now. That time slipped out. We saw him just give up the home run to Sanford on the breaker. He's really trying to force it. He wants to get the feel back for it. Just, he can't find it right now.
Yeah, it's been an effective pitch for him. Jaffine's never been known to strike out a ton of batters in the Intercounty Baseball League, but boy, does he ever induce a lot of soft contact from opposing hitters.
And we've seen it already in this inning. 2 ground balls that were hit to shortstop, just 1 hoppers.
Grayson Barrett on first base for the Jackfish. Marchese at the dish. The 0-1. This one's popped up. Actually, this one's carrying into the outfield, but lots of room out there for Spencer McInnes, who comes over and makes the catch. That wind blowing straight out to center field. You could see that carrying that ball, but McInnes had lots of room to make the catch. Back-to-back home runs for the Jackfish in the inning. Robert Mullen and Jake Sanford go deep, and it's 6-2.
Any similarities, or how do you think this Maple Leafs team stacks up to the ones that went to the IBL finals a couple of years ago?
Well, yeah, that's a good one. The core is still there. We still got like the core veterans, but then we also got a couple guys that have already proven themselves to be great positional hitters who can jump in a lineup and drop a bunt down to steal base. I say we have much more versatility. We got definitely the pitching is looking really good. I'm excited about the pitching and our add-ons. The imports are great. They're a great addition in the clubhouse and on the field. And our core still wants it, and we're here every day, and we love the game. We're all laughing together and playing hard too. And I think the difference between this year and the other years is that it feels like we're already, every game matters, as opposed to maybe waiting till the playoffs and say, oh, it's just spring training and the playoffs are the fun part. But no, now every day seems like a fun day, and I think everybody's here ready to play and committed to going all the way.
Well, back here at Dominico Field, a beautiful day here at the park at Dominico Field. A little bit chillier than what we've got in the past couple of days. There's a really warm, hot, sunny day. Today, a little bit of a haze, still a little bit of smoke in the sky. Man, that
day Friday was worst air quality in the world, not just Canada, in the world. It was that Friday.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was 175 was Toronto, and then the second worst was in Detroit, 174 was the air quality.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Rando Moreno hits this one in the air. This one's towards center. It's shallow, and it's Weisner who goes out. That's a heck of a play made there by Jonah Weisner, out number 1.
Now batting, right fielder, number 4, Marcus Bennett.
Leafs really looking for offense anywhere right now. They found it in the early stages, but Jose Dominguez has just, he's gotten comfortable. He's started rolling here. Very minimal action on the base paths, minus the hit by Spencer McInnes, which he later came around and scored.
Yeah, it's looking reminiscent of his last start against Brantford, as this one's pulled down the line. Foul, just foul. Marcus Connect missed that one by inches. But it's looking reminiscent of his last start, where he gave up 2 runs over 6 against Brantford. Maple Leafs still in this ball game, though, just the bottom of the 5th inning. But the longer that you get into that Welland Jackfish bullpen, the higher quality arms that are going to be coming out of the pen for Welland. 0-1 now on Marcus Connect. He takes inside, right in his hands, but he hung in the box there and almost hit him right in the hands, and it counts 1-1.
And Dominguez has come inside on Connect, looks 3 or 4 times already today.
The 1-1. This one's hit on the ground past a diving Jonah Weisner into center field, and Marcus Connect has picked up his first base hit of the day. That's an 8-game hitting streak now from Marcus Connect.
He's just seeing the ball so well right now, and you got to think for his eyes, it probably looks like a beach ball.
If he gets one more today, that would be a 5-game multi-hit streak too. Multi-hit game streak. There we go. Right?
Yep, multi-game hit streak.
No, multi-hit. 2 hits.
Multi-hit hit streak. Yeah.
Yeah, you work on that.
Yep, I'll figure out English one day. Hard language, man. It's a hard language.
Yeah, 5-game streak having multiple hits. There we go.
Yeah, that works too.
Marcus Connect over there at first base. And this one's lined down the line by Dan Mara, and that one stays fair by a couple feet. Mara digging for second base. Connect is going to move up to third and 2 in scoring position here for the Maple Leafs, and Dan Mara stays hot at the plate for Toronto.
Dan Mara just keeps putting up such good at-bats. Right there, he saw Dominguez was trying to get him to chase something low and away. Well, he does chase it low and away, but he stays with the ball. You just drive it the way it's coming, and it's exactly what Mara does. Beautiful hit down that right field line.
Well, Maple Leafs trail Welland by 4, but this is an opportunity here. Historically, Justin Mara has been one of their best RBI guys over the last 6 or 7 seasons.
You got to get at least one back here. Answer back for the Maple Leafs. They've been doing such a good job of that today. They got to do it one more time here.
Justin 0 for 1 with a walk today. Takes a strike at the knees. Spencer McInnes is the on-deck batter for the Maple Leafs. Mara takes low and away for a ball. Spencer McInnes is hitting .417 on the year. So if Mara can keep this line moving, the young outfielder for the Maple Leafs, he's a pretty good RBI guy as well.
He's had 2 really good at-bats. The contact has been there, and there's good power and pop in the bat.
Mara hits this one on the ground. This is going to score a run for the Maple Leafs. Throw to first in time to get the out, but Justin Mara picks up the RBI with the ground out to short, and it's 6-3.
There you go. You've done one job. You've gotten a run back. Now you try to extend. You have a good guy at the plate who's been seeing the ball well, hitting the ball well, and Spencer McInnes.
Yeah, Spencer McInnes has 5 hits in his short IBL career. This is 4th game. 2 of them have been home runs, both solo shots. And both of them coming in the last game he played in against the Guelph Royals. The 0-1, McInnes out in front, and it's 0-2.
Pulled the string right there. And McInnes way out in front.
Spencer McInnes lines this one into the outfield and coming in and making a running catch. But oh no, he dropped it. That one pops out of the glove of Mateo Porcelato, and that's going to score another run for the Maple Leafs. They get pretty fortunate there on that line drive to Porcelato. That'll probably go down as an error, and it's 6-4.
Completely in and out of the glove right there of Mateo Porcelato.
I was in the glove for so long I looked away. All of a sudden, there it is lying on the field. So a break for the Maple Leafs. Now it's Zach Lamprey at the plate. And he hits this one in the air. This one's drifting out to Hupe and right, and he comes in and makes the catch, but the Maple Leafs tack on a couple extra runs. They get 2 to respond to the Welland Jackfish 2 in the top half of the 5th inning, and now it's 6-4 at Dominico Field. Back here at Dominico Field, Adam Jeffine back on the mound for the Maple Leafs, and the 2 runs that he gave up in the top half of the 5th inning, well, the Maple Leafs got both of those back, so now trying to shut down the Jackfish here in the 6th. First pitch squaring to bunt. That's Brendan Luther, the number 9 hitter. Pitch missed low, so 1-0. Now Luther takes outside. A breaking ball misses from Jaffine, 2-0. Jaffine, the second pitcher into the game for the Maple Leafs. Drew Howard went 4 innings for Toronto. Gave up 4 runs, all of them earned, walked 3 and struck out 5. A 3-0 count now on the number 9 hitter in Luther. Pitch, up and in, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Luther, and the top of the order coming back up, it's Jonah Weisner.
That's tough. You never want to start off the inning by walking the number 9 hitter. Again, we know how good this top of the order has been so far today. 4 for 5 on the day are the top 2.
Yeah, and you know, the Maple Leafs very much still in this ball game, but you can't afford to give up too many more runs. Dominguez has gone 5 innings, gave up 4 runs, only 2 of them earned, struck out 5. With no one warming in the bullpen, looks like he's set to come back out for another inning of work. But, I mean, we're in the 6th inning now. If he gets through 6, the Welland Jackfish have a pretty good back end of their bullpen to close things down. Runs could be hard to come by. Just highlights the importance of these next couple hitters here for Adam Jaffine. This is not going to be easy with Weisner, Morello, and Porcelato coming up. And if it gets that far, Robert Mullen, who's already homered today. Luther on first. Weisner at the plate. The 1-1. Up high, 2-1. Adam Jaffine had a long hold of the baseball there, making sure Luther couldn't time him up.
Yeah, never a bad thing to try to disrupt the timing of the base runner. That's exactly what Jaffine was doing right there. You don't want to fall into a rhythm or a tempo as a pitcher. You want to change things up a lot.
Throw over to first. Brendan Luther has already swiped 4 bags this season for the Jackfish. There's a little bit of action in the Leafs bullpen as well. Looks like Jeremy Newton is getting warmed up out there. Here's the 2-1. Jeremy Newton was one of the last guys left in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs last night in that game against Chatham-Kent. And the bullpen pitch for the Maple Leafs did a good job just to make sure that they preserved some of those arms down in the pen. Ayami Sato pitched, gave up 1 run, but also struck out a couple. She started using that cutter that's in her arsenal. It looked really good. You got 2 strikeouts with it. Not sure if it was a cutter or a fastball, but it wasn't that traditional high spin rate curveball that we've seen her get some strikeouts on here at Christie Pitts. And then Alex Karabian made his debut and got through a clean inning of work as well. Here's the 3-1. This one's lined to center field. McInnes, right in his tracks, makes the catch, out number 1. Number 2 hitter, Gio Morello, comes to the plate.
That's a big out number 1, especially on a dangerous bat like Jonah Weisner. Be able to get that. He still made hard contact, but he got the out. That's the key thing here. And now with Morello, you just got to get something on the ground. That's the biggest key here. You can't let him elevate a baseball.
Problem is, Gio Morello is not a good double play candidate. A lot of speed coming down the line there at first base. Gonna have to hit one sharply if the Maple Leafs are gonna turn 2. He hits one sharply, but this one's to center field and it drops for a base hit. Runners at first and second now here for the Jackfish, with 1 away in the inning.
Morello finds his 3rd single of the day. And relatively, none of them really hit all that hard. That one looked like it was just poked off the end of the bat, bloops over the head of Dan Mara. His last one was just a soft ground ball through the hole on the right side.
Mateo Porcelato steps in. 0 for 3. The only batter in the top of the lineup for the Welland Jackfish without a hit this afternoon. And he chops this one towards first, and it squeaks under the glove there of both Mara brothers into the outfield. A run's going to come in to score, and the Welland Jackfish are back up by 3.
And again, the Jackfish, they're hitting the ball hard with all the home runs, but they're also just placing these soft hits perfectly. That's about the 4th or 5th one I've seen, just softly hitting to the outfield right through the hole on that right side.
Yeah, not to say that Justin or Dan Mara had much of a play on that baseball. It was perfectly in between them. And even if Justin was able to get down and make that play on the ball at first base, it would have been tough to try and flip that ball back to Adam Jaffine.
Yeah, it's just good hitters making the right plays.
Rob Butler out to the mound here. He's chatting with Adam Jaffine. Jeremy Newton has been throwing for a little while in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. I think he might be ready to go. And I think Jaffine...
Is he feeling pain in the arm? I think that's what it is.
It's hard to say. You don't usually see a long conversation like that with the pitcher on the mound, and then it ends up in pitcher leaving the ball game. But it looks like Adam Jaffine's day is going to be done, and Jeremy Newton coming into the game for the Maple Leafs. Well, Jeremy Newton comes into this game for the Maple Leafs and inherits a bit of a difficult situation here. Runners on first and third, and it's Robert Mullen coming to the plate. He homered in his last at-bat. First pitch from Newton, runner going, pitch in the dirt. No play at second base. Now 2 in scoring position, double play no longer in order. And Zach, Robert Mullen would have been a double play candidate for the Welland Jackfish had that runner stayed at first.
Yeah, and Mateo Porcelato, he was going really even before there was any movement by Newton. He was just kind of getting a running start, and now you got 2 in scoring position. You just need to try to get out of this.
This one's popped up, and it's going to get out of play down the left side. It was a little bit harder to steal that base with Adam Jeffine, the lefty, looking right at him, but as soon as Jeremy Newton jumps on the mound here, Mateo Porcelato just guesses he's going home, got a great jump, but the pitch was in the dirt, so there was no play anyway. Can Jeremy Newton escape this situation for the Maple Leafs? Here's the 1-1. It's just outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jeremy Newton has been good for the Maple Leafs this season. In 4 games, he's pitched 4 innings. He struck out 3, walked 3, and has a nice tidy ERA of 2.25. A 2-1 pitch to Mullen, catches the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Maple Leafs need a strikeout or a pop out here. Another dangerous bat and a lefty, and Jake Sanford is on deck. Newton's 2-2. Inside, and it hit him. That's going to load the bases for the Jackfish. And the #1 ranked player in the Intercounty Baseball League, Jake Sanford, comes to the dish.
Yeah, and that's worst case scenario. You got ahead of Mullins. You were sequencing so well, and then a fastball just slips out of the hand. Just loaded now here for Sanford. Again, a lethal hitter.
Jake Sanford, the native of Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. 1997 born player, former draft pick in Major League Baseball as well. Bases loaded, 1 out. First pitch to Sanford, right down the middle for strike 1. Jake Sanford had 4 home runs in 31 games last season with the Welland Jackfish, and he drove in 23 runs in those 31 games as well. Hit .393 that season. Newton misses up and away, and it's 1-1. Jake Sanford has also been on a tear of late, had 2 hits earlier in the week in a game against the Barrie Baycats, and then went 4 for 5 last game against London. And he swings through that pitch, and it's 1-2. Today, Jake Sanford has had another good day at the plate. He's 2 for 3. He's driven in a couple runs.
And 2 extra base hits.
Homer and a double. Both cashed in for Welland. Big pitch coming here from Jeremy Newton on the mound there for the Leafs. The 1-2. Sanford swings and misses, strike 3. That's a huge punch out from Jeremy Newton.
Not sure if Newton just left that breaker up top, but it completely fooled Sanford nonetheless.
Yeah, worked out. Needed the strikeout. Sanford swings through it. Maybe a bit unconventional. And now he's going to have to bear down here against Brendan Hupe, who's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today. First pitch, strike from Newton. (0-1) the count now. A long look in from Newton, getting the signs there from John Javier, and the pitch fouled off. Hupe had a pretty good rip at it. He was just a little out in front.
And Hupe just hasn't been able to get anything going offensively so far.
Yeah, that hasn't been the theme, though, of his season this year, hitting .333 on the year. But 0 for 3 today. Newton with an 0-2 pitch, and it's fouled off at home plate. Boy, Hupe did a really good job just to get a piece of that baseball.
Yeah, it looks like he was way out in front.
Well, Newton has made some effective pitches here in this outing, but needs to make one more here to get Hupe and strand the bases loaded. Another 0-2 pitch. And it's hit in the air, this one to center field. It's going to hang up for Spencer McInnes, who comes in and makes the catch. And what a job done by Jeremy Newton to get out of that bases loaded jam. And the Maple Leafs keep it a 3-run ball game. It's Welland who leads 7-4. Jose Dominguez back out on the mound for the Welland Jackfish, entering into his 6th inning of work, facing today's shortstop for the Maple Leafs, Spencer Ross. First pitch misses up and in, ball 1. Next pitch finds the inside corner, 1-1. Dominguez working quickly on the mound here for the Jackfish. He's given up 2 earned runs. 2 of the 4 that he's given up are earned on the day, and this one's sharply hit back up the middle for a base hit for Spencer Ross.
Good job by Spencer Ross, the number 9 hitter. That's what you want to do. You're leading off an inning as the bottom of the order. Flip that order over. Get these bats that have been hitting so well to start the season. Get them going with people on base.
So Ryan Dos Santos comes to the plate for the Maple Leafs. The number 9 spot, and Spencer Ross gets on base. It's exactly what the Maple Leafs wanted, and here comes the top of the order. Dos Santos takes low, ball 1.
Trying to think of it, partner. I don't remember the last time Dos Santos swung at a first pitch.
Yeah. Well, that strategy's been working out for him lately. He's been the ideal leadoff hitter for the Maple Leafs. Now he hits one on the ground. This one's to shortstop. Second for 1, back to first, not in time. Ryan Dos Santos runs too well to let that be a ground ball double play, so it goes down as a fielder's choice. And with 1 away, it's Dos Santos on first base.
Now batting.
Well, John Javier comes to the plate. He's just been on fire the entire season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're talking to Rob Butler about John Javier, and the words that he used to describe John Javier: scrappy, fun to watch, and big heart. The perfect baseball player, right?
Oh, yeah.
And oh, by the way, he catches and plays whatever position you want him to play. Catcher, third base, outfield.
Coaches love that when you have the ability to produce, but you can also just play anywhere they need you to go.
Yeah. Catcher being one of those utility positions is huge for the Maple Leafs. Here's the 1-0. I think Justin Mara is getting to the point in his career where he's quite happy to not be catching every single day. Especially on weekends like this, Justin Mara hasn't had to catch any of the games. They played him over there at first base with Jordan Castaldo out of the lineup, and John Javier, with those young knees, is happy to crouch down behind the plate. And he lines one on a hop and into the outfield for a base hit. The third hit of the day for John Javier, and there's 2 aboard.
Just keeps finding ways to get on base, and that's what you want to see. The Maple Leafs there just extremely happy with the acquisition they got of John Javier.
Yeah, that one was actually more of a chopper towards the outfield from John Javier. Smashed it right off the dirt in front of home plate, but he hit it so hard that he got it into the outfield. The Maple Leafs would love a big swing here from Rando Moreno, their DH today. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Although he has been pretty close. Flew out to center in one of his at-bats today that just missed a home run.
First at-bat, he flew to center, and then Dos Santos advanced to third on that play.
At the time, the wind wasn't blowing out there to center field. You almost wonder if it was. If that ball might have cleared the wall from Rando Moreno. That would have changed things a lot in this ball game. So ahead in the count, 2-0. And he lines this one past Weisner into the outfield. Ryan Dos Santos got the stops, and now he gets the wave. Here comes the throw home, and it's not in time. Ryan Dos Santos, with that blazing speed, had to put on the brakes and then kept on going and scores a run for the Maple Leafs at 7-5.
And he picked up his third base coach, Rob Butler, beautifully there. Rob initially threw up the stop sign, saw the bobble, said go. He tried to throw up the stop sign again, but Dos Santos, he understood. He has the speed. He can get under that tag, and that's exactly what he did.
That was a close play at home plate as well. The throw just wasn't perfect. It was good, not perfect. A perfect throw would have got him. And that is going to spell the end of the day for Jose Dominguez. It was a good start. The Maple Leafs still threatening here in the 6th. A new pitcher into the game for the Welland Jackfish is Scott Gillespie, and he's got a big task on his hand here facing Marcus Connect, who's been really good for the Maple Leafs of late, and this season in general, hitting well over 300. Leafs with 2 runners on base, and Marcus Connect takes ball 1.
Things get interesting here. Marcus Connect, a guy who's just been red hot, tying runs, standing at first base. Wouldn't be surprised if Connect is just hunting a fastball up in the zone here.
The 1-1. Oh, he was, and he fouled it off. Well, Marcus Connect had maybe the biggest game of his Intercounty Baseball League career in the playoffs in 2022 against the Welland Jackfish. Homered 3 times. Had the hat trick in a big game. That allowed the Toronto Maple Leafs to move on and play the London Majors in the IBL Finals. The 1-1, Connect fouls it off. Scott Gillespie has only pitched 1 inning this season. It came on May 30th against the Brantford Red Sox and went well, didn't give up a run in that inning of work. Last year had an ERA of 5.95 in 18 games and 22 and 2/3 innings pitched for the Jackfish. The 1-2. Connect takes low and away. Well, Scott Gillespie put that pitch right where he wanted and just missed the zone.
Yeah, Gillespie has a little bit of a whip action to his pitches. Has that extra snap.
Big spot here that he inherits for the Jackfish. 2 on, Connect. Swings and misses at home plate, frustrated after the pitch as he throws his bat down. And Gillespie gets a big out, number 2.
Now batting, second baseman, number 6, Dan Mara.
Well, Dan Mara has come up in this situation before over the last 3 games or so. It's gone well when the situation has been presented to him. This time the Maple Leafs would love just any kind of a hit here from Mara.
Yeah, another soft poke over to right field. Leafs would absolutely adore right now.
Yeah, Mara had a big 3-run home run to tie the game against the Brantford Red Sox, and then the very next game against the Guelph Royals tied the game again with another home run. It was the first time in his Intercounty Baseball League career that he had home runs at back-to-back games. This is where he's going to have to battle, though, down 0-2 against Gillespie. Dan Mara has been known to not strike out much at all in his Intercounty Baseball League career. Trying to put the ball in play. Takes outside. One and 2 now on Mara. And he hits this one in the air. It's shallow into right, and coming over and making the catch. That's the center fielder, Gio Morello. Had to come a long way to catch that baseball. Dan Mara made things interesting. The Toronto Maple Leafs cash in another run here in the bottom of the 6th and trail by 2 here in Toronto. The 0-1. Connect drills this one to left, high and deep and gone. Marcus Connect, a grand slam, and the Leafs lead 4-0. Spencer McKinnis steps in here for the Maple Leafs and hits one in the air to center field. This one's pretty deep, carrying to the wall, and it's gone to dead center field. Spencer McKinnis gets his first IBL home run. I have a feeling there's a lot more runs left
I do
in
have a
this game.
feeling. I do have a feeling.
This might be one of them. High, deep, left field, gone! Home runs in back-to-back games for Dan Mara. The 1-2 from King. Moreno drills this one high and deep to right field, and it's gone! Grand slam, Rando Moreno.
I just kept going.
0-2 here on McInnes. And McInnes gets into another one. Did he get this one? Yes, sir! Spencer McInnes. It's 11-9.
Then you add some defense.
2-2. John Javier rips it down the line, and it's gone! John Javier, a 2-run shot, and the Leafs go back up by 3. Top of the 7th inning here at Dominico Field. Grayson Barrett leading things off for the Welland Jackfish, facing Jeremy Newton, who's entering into his 2nd inning. Did a fantastic job for the Maple Leafs back in the top of the 6th. Didn't inherit the bases loaded situation. Walked a batter, his bases loaded, 1 out, and he got out of it. Big strikeout and a fly out to center field. Now he comes into a clean inning here facing Barrett, and the 0-1 pitch is low, 1-1. John Javier, by his reaction, wanted that one to be a strike.
Yeah, he got 2 key outs. The big one was the Jake Sanford strikeout.
There's a swing and a miss. Count 1-2 now. Welland Jackfish got 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 5th, and 1 run in the 6th inning. And leads 7-5 over Toronto. 2-1. Breaking ball, and it hit him. Hit Grayson Barrett. Grayson Barrett, I don't know if he was feeling a little bit of pain there or maybe a little bit of both, just trying to get the bench a little fired up there on his way back to first base. As
it's the 2nd time we've seen this happen in this outing for Newton, where he gets ahead of the batter. He looks like he's in command, and then it's a funky release.
He was able to work through it last inning. Now he faces Marchese and Luther, 8-9 coming up. First pitch. Misses for a ball. Marchese hitting 150 on the season. He's 0 for 2 today, but he's walked and scored. The 0-1 pitch misses as well, and now he's fallen behind. Marchese has Jeremy Newton 2-0. Top 7, lots of runway. The Maple Leafs have continued to limit damage in innings against the Welland Jackfish, which is what's allowed them to keep it close here. And you just wonder if they can keep it into striking distance into the late innings, if Maple Leafs can get that big swing that they're looking for.
That's the thing, Toronto, they've played a lot of close games this year.
Boy, Marchese rockets that ball past the members lounge down the left field line.
Stayed back on that, sat on his back foot and just poked it foul. That's how you stay alive.
Bobby Armstrong all over that ball down the left field line. Saw it right through the members' 10.
Nobody tracks a baseball better than Bobby.
The 2-2 popped up, but this one's going to be out of play behind home plate. About 10 feet out in front of our broadcast booth here up on the hill at Christie Pitts.
Last year was the first time our broadcast booth got hit by a foul ball.
Yeah, it happened multiple times after that. Like the floodgates just opened.
I was somehow always the recipient of getting hit by a baseball.
Good.
First it was the laptop, then it was my ankle.
Oh, sorry. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a big punch out from Jeremy Newton.
Second baseman number 20, Brandon Luther.
So Newton's still got that double play in order with Grayson Barrett over there at first base. How many times have we been in a position today where Jonah Weisner is just looming on deck and the Maple Leafs are trying to not let it get to him? Here's a bunt to third, and it gets under the hand of Zach Lamprey. All hands are safe, and the top of the order is coming up for the Welland Jackfish.
Yeah, Lamprey tried barehanding it and going with the ball, but thought he didn't have enough time with Luther going up the line. Looked like he could have just backhanded with his glove, transfer quickly, but tried to go with the bare hand and just the Christie Pitts hop on that infield.
Yeah.
Never predictable.
Yeah, even if he barehanded that ball, I mean, that was going to have to be a heck of a play over there to first base. The official scoring is a base hit, credited to Luther. Jonah Weisner at the dish. 2 for 3 today. He's driven in a run. Weisner takes outside, ball 1.
He's had loud contact all day, even on his last at-bat where he lined out to center field. It was just a loud hit right to McInnes.
The 0-1 pitch. This one's hit on the ground to short. Spencer Ross throws to second for 1. That's all they're going to get, but that's a great play by Spencer Ross, the shortstop, to record an out.
Big time. He stops on his back foot, understands the play. Just give an accurate throw over to Mara. He does just that.
Yeah, that's a great play in any ballpark, but especially at Christie Pitts on the sometimes unpredictable infield. But he got to that baseball, he short hopped it with the backhand, and then to boot, got the lead, or not the lead runner, but a productive runner at second base. It's Gio Morello at the dish now for the Jackfish. 2 away in the inning. Can Jeremy Newton escape trouble once again? First pitch, strike, but it gets away from John Javier, and a run's going to come in to score. Oh, an unfortunate play. It's probably going to go down as a pass ball on John Javier. And with 2 outs in the inning, the Welland Jackfish get an extra run. It's 8-5.
And not sure if it was a cross-up between Javier and Newton, or if Javier just tried to go down with the baseball too soon, which is an unfortunate play for the Leafs.
Yeah, you can see Javier a little bit frustrated there after that pitch. Jackfish go back out in front by 3 runs. Swing and a miss by Morello. 0-2. And if Jeremy Newton gets out of this inning without any more runs, it almost makes it more frustrating for the Toronto Maple Leafs, because it's what could have been that runner at third base. I feel like the Maple Leafs maybe could have stranded them at third. See if Gio Morello can make that a moot point or not. The 0-2 hit on the ground. This one's to second base. Dan Mara has it, throws to first in time to get the out. And the Maple Leafs get out of the inning, but not before 1 run comes across for the Jackfish, and they've extended their lead to 3. 5 runs on 7 hits for the Toronto Maple Leafs today. They got 1 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 1 in the 6th inning, and they're looking for more here in the 7th, trailing by 3 to the Welland Jackfish. It's Scott Gillespie who's back out on the mound for Welland, and he did his job, coming in needing to get 2 outs with 2 runners on base for the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 6th inning. He did just that, got a strikeout in the process. Now he gets the clean inning here, much like Jeremy Newton did in the last inning, and he'll start off by facing Justin Mara.
And we're having some audio issues. They can't turn the music off.
There we go. Fixed it.
Fixed it.
Yeah, so that's what Scott Gillespie didn't throw the pitch. The audio had to be off before he could deliver that baseball. Now they've got it sorted out, and here's Justin Mara. Mara hits one sharply on the ground through for a base hit. Justin Mara with a leadoff single here, bottom 7.
Maybe we just have to hear his walk-up song a little bit longer. Yeah. Maybe that was the key. Maybe that was the key.
Center fielder, number 22.
So Alex Ewer is getting loose in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. He pitched, well, he closed things out against the Guelph Royals in the Toronto Maple Leafs' last home game here on Friday night. And he gave up a run, but the Maple Leafs coaching staff really liked what they saw from Alex Ewer, and apparently they got some feedback from the Guelph Royals as well, who said that the stuff that he was delivering to home plate was pretty nasty as well. So see if he can have a repeat performance here at Christie Pitts.
And Bobby makes a great play.
Oh yeah, getting
Laid
dirty.
all out on the line.
Getting dirty in the new uniform. Good stuff. Spencer McInnes at the dish here for the Maple Leafs. The 1-1 in there for a strike. Speaking of another good junior player for the Maple Leafs, Spencer McInnes. Hasn't recorded a hit yet. He had a little tapper back to the mound that got ruled an error, so didn't pick up the hit on that in his last at bat. And he won't here either. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gillespie gets out number 1.
Third baseman, number 11,
Well, Zach Lampreia came up in a similar situation in his last at-bat. If you're Zach Lampreia, just try and keep the line going. He did that. He worked a well-earned walk. And now he smashes this one to center field on a line, but unfortunately for Lampreia, Gio Morello standing right there, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, got a good piece of it, just unfortunately right at the center fielder.
Now batting, shortstop, number 2, Spencer Ross.
That's got to be a frustrating at-bat there from Zach Lampreia. You earn the walk in your last at-bat, you get a pretty good look at the guy on the mound, and then you hit a ball sharply to center field, but it's just right at a guy. That would have been a big hit for the Maple Leafs as well. Spencer Ross had a hit in his last at-bat, went right back up the middle. That was against Dominguez. First pitch strike from Gillespie. Here's the 0-1 from Scott Gillespie. Oh, pretty sharp breaking ball there, but it just missed. Ryan Dos Santos on deck, hopeful of an at-bat here in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-1, fouled off. Spencer Ross got a pretty good piece of that one, was just a bit late.
Ross has been a good 9-hole hitter for the Maple Leafs this year. It's just consistency, really. It feels like when he goes up to plate, he has long at-bats.
He's played some really good defense at shortstop today for the Maple Leafs as well. Here's the 1-2. chops this one on the ground to Weisner. A big high hop. He throws it over to first just in time to get Ross, who was hustling down the line, and that'll do it for the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 7th inning. To the 8th we go here at Christie Pitts.
Fielder number 10, Mateo Porcelano.
Mateo Porcelano is going to lead things off for the Welland Jackfish here. We are in the top of the 8th inning. Our Maple Leafs are running out of outs, and Welland Jackfish trying to extend the lead, and they're facing the youngster Alex Ewer, one of the junior players for the Maple Leafs. Ewer looked sharp in his last outing against the Guelph Royals. Coaching staff had a lot of praise for what he was dishing out there on the mound.
Looks like he has good movement on his pitches.
And this is a great test to see if that stuff really plays, because he's got the middle of the Welland Jackfish lineup. Some pretty good hitters here: Porcelano, Mullen, and Sanford. This will be a good test.
Very, very good test.
Couple lefties in the mix there as well. This is Porcelano, who had a hit in his last at-bat. That drove in a run. Ewer up 0-2. Shakes off Javier and now delivers, and it's chopped foul towards first.
Wow.
Alex Ewer has pitched twice in his Inter-County Baseball League career, once against Kitchener as part of a 5-2 win, and then, as we mentioned, against Guelph. Gave up an earned run in each of his first 2 outings, and seeing if he can't get through a clean slate here against the Jackfish. Here's the 0-2 to Porcelano, and it misses up and away.
Fastball, tried to catch the high outside corner. Just didn't get it down enough. But that fastball, it has some good run on it. Watching out of the hand.
Ewer gets the sign and delivers the 1-2, and it's lined back up the middle. That's another hit for Mateo Porcelano. He's 0 for his first 3 at-bats, and now he's got a couple knocks on the day.
Yeah, he was on the day 2 for 5. He got that RBI single his last time up.
Catcher number 23, Robert Mullen.
So the leadoff batter reaches here for the Jackfish, and Robert Mullen, who's already gone yard in this baseball game today, he's at the dish. That was a solo home run when him and Jake Sanford went back-to-back. It's part of a 2-run 5th inning for the Jackfish. Ewer's pitch up high, and then John Javier threatening to whip that ball back down to first base, as you saw Mateo Porcelato, who stole a base last time he was on first, just creeping off first a little bit too much for his liking. There's the 1-0 to Mullen. Well, Porcelato had a great jump. He just didn't pull the trigger on it on that leadoff over there at first base. Ewer's pitch misses low, and now it's 2-0.
We saw last time Porcelato was on first, he had that running lead. Granted, it was first and third at the time, but that first pitch here of this at-bat, he did the same thing. He tried to get that running lead to time up Ewer.
The 0-2, Ewer a long way, and delivers a strike, a breaking ball as well.
I like that a lot. Ewer, he understood that Porcelato is trying to time him up here. And what does he do? He holds it for an extra couple seconds. Porcelato bouncing. He's trying to time him. He can't. So he can't go.
Yeah. The pitch before, when he had that great jump, he was actually really early. And now he's quick to the plate this time, and the ball hooked foul down the line. Boy, that had home run distance there from Robert Mullen, but he missed the foul ball pull by a couple feet.
Good swing again. Yeah, just out early on it. Robert Mullen, again, a threat with the bat. They shut him down in the first 2 at-bats he had, and he came back with vengeance in the 5th with a booming homer.
Two and 2 the count on Mullen. Long foul ball on the last pitch, no damage done. Porcelato goes, pitch taken, throw down to second, in time. John Javier with a rocket down to second base, and then a perfect location. And he catches Porcelato stealing.
Yeah, credit John Javier with that great throw, but you also got to credit Ewer. Again, he's disrupting the rhythm of Porcelato on first base. He did it again that at-bat. Just a fantastic job to understand as a pitcher that the runner, he's trying to time you up. He's trying to get your rhythm. You change it up on him, you keep changing, and he doesn't know when to go, and that's a perfect example of why you do that.
Wonder how much communication there is from behind the plate with John Javier, because as this one's lifted into the outfield, Marcus Connect in his tracks makes the catch. Just to finish that point, I wonder the communication with John Javier, because with Ewer being a right-handed pitcher, it's not like he can see that runner over there at first base. So the only way that he would have known that Porcelato had that great jump 3 pitches before the end of that at-bat would be if someone had communicated that to him. Jake Sanford at the dish now. First 2 retired in unconventional fashion by Ewer. Here's the 0-1 to Sanford. And it's low and in the dirt.
And if you're Ewer here, you got to respect the power that Sanford brings.
The 1-1 pitch. This one's hit into the outfield, down the line, fair ball. It bounces up against the wall. Marcus Connect picks it up, throws it back in, but it's cut off there by Dan Mara. And it's another double and another extra base hit for Jake Sanford.
Yeah, his 3 hits today have all been extra base hits, 2 doubles, and then that home run. Jake Sanford seen the ball very, very well.
Right fielder number 21, Brandon Hupe.
Going to bring in Brandon Hupe. 0 for 4 on the day, couple strikeouts for Hupe. Ben Sidorenios is warming up in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. He came in as a hitter in the game against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers and got a pretty good piece of a ball hitting it out to right field. Now we might get to see him on the mound for the Maple Leafs.
Ewer gets that first pitch off speed. That looked like a lethal breaker.
The 0-1. This one smashed towards left field, and it's gone. Brandon Hupe with a 2-run home run, and things starting to open up now for the Welland Jackfish.
Hupe was the only player that's been held in check all day, but that doesn't last. The 0-for-4, I don't think he cares anymore if that booming blast, a laser over that left field wall.
So that makes it 10-5 Welland Jackfish. Well, Alex Ewer, just one pitch from getting out of that inning, can't quite do it. Hupe hits the home run to left field. And now Grayson Barrett comes to the plate. Grayson Barrett takes outside, ball 1.
He's been hit by a pitch in his last 2 plate appearances.
That one hit him? Nope. It's inside. Almost.
He thought it did for a second.
Oh, 0-2 now. Barrett cues it foul behind home plate. Alex Ewer trying to come back, make a good pitch after the home run, and get out of this inning. Grayson Barrett has a couple homers of his own on the season. Now he hits this one into left field. This one struck pretty well, and it's going to go off the wall. Fielded by Ryan Dos Santos in the gap. He gets it back in quickly, and that's going to hold Grayson Barrett to a long single.
Yeah, it's a one-hopper off the fence, but credit Dos Santos. Gets it, fields it beautifully while spinning, and then just a bullet right back into second base.
So the 8th spot now in the Welland Jackfish lineup. Josh Marchese to the dish. All right, actually no.
Substitute.
Yeah, pinch hitter coming in for the Jackfish.
Pinch hitting for the Welland Jackfish, number 25, Tyson Gaum.
All right, so Tyson Gaum is going to come into the game now for Welland. Tyson Gaum, one of the young players on this Jackfish team, born in 2003. And he's played a little bit in the area, played at the T12 tournament at Rogers Center, played on the Canadian national junior team as well.
He has a brother, Austin, who's on that 59-0 LSU.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
1-0 pitch in the dirt.
Is it LSUS? That's the school, I believe.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss.
So Ewer, 1-2 count here on Gaum. Just trying to get out of the inning here. The big fly coming off the bat of Brandon Hupe. Ewer gets his sign. Here's the delivery. And gonna miss high and away. Evened up here 2-2.
The 2-2 from Ewer, and it's slashed down the line, foul to the left. Alex Ewer up to 25 pitches here in the top of the 8th inning. Another 2-2 to Gom. That one misses low and in. A lot of break on that pitch though from Alex Ewer. (10-5) Jackfish. A big 2 runs here in the top of the 8th inning. Pitch fouled off again by Gom. Not easy to come in and have a good battle like this when you're coming in off the bench.
Gom has a really good ability to put bat to ball. You see here, he's just staying with these pitches on the outside half from Ewer.
And he's approaching pitch number 28 here in the inning. Needs to make a good one here on the 3-2 to Gom. And it's fouled off.
Continuously just staying alive.
Brandon Hupe with the big swing in the inning, a 2-run home run over the left field wall. Now Gom trying to keep the line moving for the Maple Leafs. The 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Alex Ewer gets the punch out, but the Welland Jackfish score a couple in the top of the 8th inning and now lead by 5. Back here in the bottom of the 8th inning, Ryan Dos Santos leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Top of the order coming up 1-2-3. Facing Scott Gillespie entering into his 3rd inning of work. First pitch to Dos Santos in there for strike 1.
Dos Santos, he's reached base 3 times, scored twice, has 1 RBI as well on the day.
The 1-0 pitch misses low to Dos Santos. John Javier, who's 3 for 4, is on deck, and then Rando Moreno Here's the 1-1. Low and in the dirt again to Dos Santos. Gillespie's 2-1 up and in. Scott Gillespie can finish this thing out for the Welland Jackfish. That would be a nice little bonus for some arms in the bullpen playing in back-to-back days. And for the Maple Leafs, they've got a busy week coming up here as the 3-1 pitch to Dos Santos in there for a strike 3 and 2. Their busy week includes games on Tuesday and Wednesday. They only got 1 day off after the 3 and 3 this weekend. Dos Santos calls time.
It was back to all those early season. We had the rain delay that got rescheduled as well.
Yeah.
I believe it's just a very busy schedule for the Leafs.
It'll be Brantford on Tuesday and then Hamilton back here for a Wednesday night game at Christie Pitts. The 3-2, Ryan Dos Santos hits this one in the air. This one's deep to left field, and it's caught on the run. Good play by Caleb Furstake, who's out there in left field now. And that's out number 1.
Gave it a ride, but no wind whatsoever. Shooting out towards left field. That was a good swing, though, by number 8.
Number 77, John Javier.
John Javier with another good day at the plate. 3 for 4. John Javier has only had 1 day where he went 0 for in the Intercounty Baseball League. Came against the Brantford Red Sox in a game that the Maple Leafs won, but almost every game he's coming up with 2 or 3 hits for this Toronto team. Here's the 1-0. Inside, nearly hit Javier as he ducks out of the way. The 1-1 from Gillespie. Javier swings and misses. That was a good breaking ball that time from Scott Gillespie.
One thing I will say is every swing that John Javier has, he puts his all into it. It's a massive swing, but it works out more times than it doesn't for him.
Gillespie's 1-2. And it's hit on the ground sharply to Weisner. And he flips to first in time. Out number 2 here in the bottom of the 8th. It's the number 3 hitter, and it's Rando Moreno. Had a RBI in his last at-bat. Moreno's batting average at .340 on the season. Marcus Connect is on deck. I don't know if you can get Rando Moreno aboard. Connect with his tremendous power, 3 home runs in the last 4 games. Maybe you can get a little bit of a spark there, but Maple Leafs down to their final 4 outs. The 1-0 finds the zone.
What a job done by Gillespie since coming into this game. The Leafs, they were threatening, trailed as little as 2. And Gillespie came in and he's just shut the door on any offense.
0-2 on Rando Moreno. Just missed inside. Gillespie a couple steps back towards the Welland Jackfish dugout. Moreno still in a hole here. Scott Gillespie trying to get through 2 2/3 innings of work here on the mound for the Jackfish. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a foul tip at home plate. Moreno got a piece of it. Gillespie's only allowed 1 hit in the 2 1/3 innings. Struck out 2. Only had to face 8 batters over that stretch. Pitch count at 35. The 1-2. Moreno pops it foul back towards the dugouts and skips through the broadcast booth.
I was waiting for you to make the play.
That's mine! That's mine! That's mine! Give it to me! No!
1-2 still now on Rando. Battling here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Moreno reaches out and gets a piece of that one and hits it off the light fixture behind home plate. One of the big stadium lights looming over the ballpark.
Give the credit here to Moreno. He is fighting.
Another 1-2, just outside. Yeah, Moreno's not giving an inch here in this at-bat. The Leafs are gonna battle right to the end here against the Jackfish. Two misses outside as well. How about Rando Moreno? Working Scott Gillespie for everything. Gillespie's just trying to get through this inning here. Nobody on base. His team up by 5, and Rando Moreno's giving him a battle here in the bottom of the 8th.
And Gillespie thought he had Moreno on 3 straight pitches, but that one didn't get called in the outside half, and Moreno was fought.
Well, that time did get him. It catches the knees. Moreno goes down looking after a long battle, and Gillespie gets through 2 2/3 innings, only allowing 1 hit for the Welland Jackfish. That'll be a big boost for them. To the 9th we go here at Christie Pitts.
Well, new pitcher into the ball game. It's number 16, Greg Carrington. He will have 9 1-2 to deal with here in the top of the 9th. 10-5 Welland Jackfish lead, and they have just really brought on the scoring in the later half of this game. From the 5th all the way to the 8th, they've scored 1 run in every single inning. First pitch there, missing low, the check down a third He did not go around, so it's going to be ball 1 here on Luther. High fly ball into right field. Connect has a beat on it, and he will be there for out number 1.
Shortstop number 4, Jonah Wiseman.
And this will bring up the lethal leadoff man in Jonah Wisner, who's reached base 4 times, homered in the first to lead off the inning. And what a job he has done so far today, Gus.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the spark plug right at the top of the lineup since the first inning. He hit that home run to start off the game.
He's been very active as well at shortstop. A couple plays that haven't gone his way, but for the most part, it's been a good day for number 4. He sees ball 1 go by. Carrington delivers. Ground ball pulled just foul.
Yeah, to your point, defensively for both teams, certainly on the Leaf side as well, it has not been a clean game defensively by any stretch of the imagination, but for the way the infield has been for years now, Jonah Wisner has done a pretty damn good job out there at short today.
Bounced inside, and you're exactly right. We call them Christie hops, and that's exactly what they are. The infield grass, you never know what hop it's going to give you, and you always got to credit the fielders on both sides, really. It's always a tough one where they have to navigate. Yes, that's in there. First strike.
Yeah, we were seeing a little bit of it in Chatham too. They were mentioning it on their broadcast. Their third base area, similar to Christie Pitts here.
This is flared into left field. Dos Santos has a read on it. He'll make the catch for out number 2.
Similar to Christie here in Chatham, there were a couple balls laced down third base line yesterday for Ross, for Torin Veselnik, who had a little bit of trouble down there.
Gio Morello steps up here. And Gio Morello hasn't really hit the ball all that hard, but he's hit the ball all day long. He's grounded out to second base twice. He has 3 singles on the day with 2 RBIs.
Yeah, a lot of this game has just been paper cutting the Maple Leafs to death a little bit. They've hit some home runs, sure, but the hard contact through the infield, the singles, the doubles.
This time it's ripped to right field, high off the pole. Gio Morello goes yard over the metal monster and right, extends this Welland Jackfish lead 11-5.
Yeah, that was getting out of any ballpark in the IBL. High and deep and way, way out of here. It's the way the game has gone for the Maple Leafs pitching staff to this point. They have not been able to have a shutdown inning. They've come close a couple times. Just 1 bad pitch and 1 at bat, and that's what these Welland Jackfish will do to you. They've done it to every team all season long. Power has been on display.
Yeah, Welland, they have just been a team that's able to dominate opposing pitching staffs, and I think Gio might have heard us talking about the soft singles because he immediately just turned on one.
He said, enough of that, I'm putting it over the fence.
This is another smoker. Dead center field, no doubt about it. Mateo Porcelato goes back-to-back with Gio Morello. 12-5 Jackfish lead here in the 9th.
Another hard hit ball. We've been saying it all day. It's what the Jackfish will do to you. We've seen it over and over and over again.
Catcher number 23, Robert Mullen.
Defensive change for the Maple Leafs. Ben Sidorenios is now playing center field. Spencer McInnes is out of the ball game to give him a breather. He's been playing a lot lately.
And just a couple of unfortunate locations here for Carrington as Morello and Porcelato just go back-to-back here. Robert Mullen, the most lethal power threat on this Jackfish team comes up to bat. Mullen did all of really his damage in this game in the 5th inning, where he homered, and then Sanford homered right behind him. Big cut there for strike 1. The Maple Leafs, they kept this one close, but the Jackfish just able to keep the pressure on. Again, they scored in every single inning from the 5th onwards. They continue that trend here. 1-2 count here on Robert Mullen. Here's the delivery from Carrington. Gets the call on the outside half, strike 3. That will retire the side, but the Welland Jackfish, they go back-to-back again. 2 home runs off the bat of Morello and Porcelato. We go to the bottom half of the 9th here at Dominico Field.
For your Maple Leafs, right fielder number 4.
Well, last chance here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Coming up, bottom of the 9th inning. Marcus Connect is going to lead things off. The Maple Leafs trail 12-5 against the Welland Jackfish, and Scott Gillespie is back on the mound for the Maple Leafs. Couple home runs for the Jackfish in the top half of the 9th, and Toronto Maple Leafs might get to see some of their new young batters as well in this 9th inning. Marcus Connect, in the meantime, drills this one to left field, and that one's gone. Marcus Connect has 4 home runs in his last 3 games.
How about Marcus Connect, the hottest hitter it feels like in the IBL this past weekend, continues his rampage.
Man, he's hitting the ball well. If anything, that's a good sign for the Toronto Maple Leafs, just to see that he's still feeling good at the plate. They got a lot more baseball coming up in the next couple days.
It's another multi-hit game for Marcus Connect as well. So the multi-hit game streak stays alive.
This one's hit on the ground to short. Weisner, backhand play, whip to first. Oh, what a play by Jonah Weisner. And a pretty good pick over there at first base by Porcelato as well.
Yeah, Weisner, he had a great day all around. We were mentioning in the last half inning. He had a couple plays at short not go his way, but overall he's really had his name all over this baseball game.
Justin Mara here with one away in the bottom of the ninth. A couple other finals from around the Intercounty Baseball League today. London beat Brantford 6-2. First pitch to Mara in there for a strike. And Kitchener defeated the Guelph Royals 4-0. The 0-1 to Mara. Justin Mara smashes this one down the line and foul. Lots of home run distance, but foul by about 15, 20 feet there down the line.
Mara 1 for 3 on the day. He walked and singled. Grounded to shortstop at one of his at-bats, but got the RBI.
I mean, Toronto Maple Leafs will have an off day tomorrow, and then they've got a chance to get back in the win column here. 4-game win streak. Now they've lost 2 in a row at the back end of a 3-3, which is going to happen from time to time. A couple games, Toronto Maple Leafs will probably admit not their best. This one and the one against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Pitched low to Justin Mara, but you got the Brantford Red Sox, who beat last time out. Well, actually 2 games ago. And then you got a tough game against the Hamilton Cardinals. There's a chance to try and get that momentum back for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing was that 4-game win streak not only did, it give a morale boost, but they were able to get back towards 500.
Mara, hot shot to second base, gloved by Luther, and there's 2 away.
And even if with the loss today, they're 5-5 on the season. They don't fall under 500. So I think you're absolutely right when you say that they can get back on the right side of things with the game against Brantford. You never know what's going to happen with Hamilton. They always play them close.
Hamilton is going to play later on tonight. They've got the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. A game starting at 6:30. For the second day in a row, we're going to see an at-bat here from Ben Sidorenios, who came in as an outfielder. He was warming up in the bullpen, then came in and was a defensive replacement last inning. Sidorenios, I'm looking forward to seeing this at-bat because he hit the ball really hard in his last at-bat in Chatham-Kent. See if he can straighten it out here in Toronto. Zach Lamprey on deck, hopeful of an at-bat here in the bottom of the ninth. 0-2 now on Sidorenios. And he hits this one pretty well. And it's going to hang up in the outfield for Brandon Hupe, and that's going to end the ball game. So the Welland Jackfish and Toronto Maple Leafs played each other tough until about the 7th inning, and then the Welland Jackfish able to break away, and they win this one pretty handily when it's all said and done, 12-6.
Yeah, when you look at the tail of the tape, it was really the second half of this game that Welland was able to dominate. We mentioned it a bunch of times, but they were able to score 2 runs in multiple innings, and since the 5th inning, they scored at least 1 every single inning, and that was kind of really the tail of it.
They finish with 12 runs on 16 hits against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto with 9 runs and 6 hits on the day, and now the Toronto Maple Leafs have lost 2 games in a row. It's going to happen from time to time at the end of the 3-3, and Maple Leafs will look to bounce back in Brantford on Tuesday. For myself, Thomas West, as well as Zach Benoit, thanks for tuning in.